Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine.
Brent Martineau.
Hey, let's do this again, baby. 3-6 on a Tuesday, and the Jags cutting down to that roster, which they really have. Now we're just debating between two kickers for some reason.
Yeah, what's the debate about?
What are we making this a hard decision for?
They want to keep Casey stringing along.
They must really like the Verity kid.
Yeah, to fight so hard to keep this going.
And say, well, we ought to give you more than a 36-hour chance, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So out at practice today, those guys were getting after it, and we'll see what the Jaguars decide to do with the two kickers. They've got until 4 o'clock to get down to that 53-man roster. Interestingly enough, around the NFL, there are some big names that are being cut, or at least names you know.
Yep.
And it always begs the question, two things for me. One, is it worth picking up somebody else's trash, essentially? And I hate to refer to athletes that way. But
I get what you're saying, yeah. Someone tossed it aside, or are we picking it up?
Is there a treasure in some of those? Because the Jaguars have the #1 waiver claim. The Jaguars could claim a whole new 53-man roster today if they want. And the other part of that is you could have the all-name team. I mean, you wouldn't know. Like, we could probably go position by position, and you'd be like, huh, that guy's interesting.
We should draft in the 5 p.m. hour.
we might do that.
All right.
We may draft the folks that were cut.
What do you call it?
I don't know.
The all trash bag? You can't do it. Don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I know. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But at the same time, like, the all trash team kind of sounds good.
You've been cast aside, but we're here for you team.
I mean, can we get a quick sponsor for this?
Some sanitation company?
Yes, I mean, we got plenty. I hear it's a very competitive industry.
Oh, all right.
So we could probably get a quick sponsor on the recycle bin team. There we go. How about that? That sounds better than trash.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
Because it gives guys a new life. They've been recycled.
You're all recycle bin team.
All right.
I like that a lot.
Blue uniforms with the arrows on them. We could do this.
Man, if we had a cast of thousands here, I could already see the artwork would be great.
Yeah, I'd buy that jersey. Big recycle sign on it.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz here on a Tuesday. And the Jags do make some moves. We'll get to them in just a moment. The kicker stuff, obviously, and around the league. And this fascinates me. I tweeted this out today, and people love both. And I love the diehard fans. This is really for them. And really, it's the social media fans.
Yeah.
But you start seeing guys drop, and they're like, whoa, I want that guy. Go get that guy. Go get that guy. And the excitement for somebody else that another team just didn't want.
We saw it yesterday when Sony Michel got let go.
Sony Michel is and by the way, like, I get some of the names. I'd be like, huh, Alex Leatherwood just got cut, right? I mean, he's a former first-round pick. How long did they even have him? Like a year?
Alex Leatherwood got cut?
Yeah.
Look at you. You're going to pick him up in your draft.
Now you're like, oh, put him on the board. Yes.
No, but like Dallas was talking about trading for him, so now they get him for free.
Well, they could, unless the Jags pick him up on the waivers.
Few of those situations out there.
So, yeah, you have those kind of situations, but I think the fans, it's funny to me on social media, get really excited about undrafted free agents coming out of the draft. Like, you could pick somebody in the 5th round, and they get more excited about somebody that's undrafted free agent that we signed.
Yeah.
Like, for this year, it was Kevin Austin. Like, everybody loved Kevin Austin when Notre Dame receiver, Jags got him in undrafted free agency, and I think they spent a decent amount of money on him, too. Like, I think it was high dollar.
They did. It was.
Yeah, right? Yeah. They paid high dollar for his undrafted free agent rights.
Mm-hmm. Here you go.
And he's gone. But I remember the Jags fans getting super excited about that.
Money
like,
well
more
spent.
excited than whoever they picked in the 5th round.
What do you think that's about? Is that like you don't know what you don't know until you know? So there's hope springs eternal until you see it?
And listen, there were great stories about undrafted free agency here in Jacksonville alone, from Keelan Cole to Alan Hearns to James Robinson most recently to Montel Owens, who was a Pro Bowler. I mean, we've had good luck in Jacksonville at times in that situation. So, like, I get, by the way, I'm not knocking it. I just think it's interesting how jacked up everybody gets for, like, what really is a guy that might not even play even if he makes the team. The Jags don't have a glaring enough hole right now in their front-end starters that they don't have a plan to play somebody. It's not like they've got an injury at corner and you have to go to your, like, fourth corner that nobody's comfortable with.
Yeah, to Casey's point, Dallas is kicking the tires on every offensive tackle in the league because they need a tackle out.
Yeah, so Jags can go pick up Leatherwood, but he's sitting on the bench.
Nah, don't pick up Leatherwood.
I'm just saying, right? Who's the guy that got everybody's attention today? Tyler Johnson?
Yeah, from the Bucks. Pick
Preston
him up.
Williams from the Dolphins?
Also, Marlon Mack got cut.
Marlon Mack gets cut.
Yeah, it's another guy.
All
Didn't
these
have a
guys,
spot,
and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, pick them up, pick them up." They won't even get on the field. I'm not saying you shouldn't pick them up, but you remember now, you're to the point you got to cut somebody.
Yeah.
So who's expendable for the Jags to take a flyer on Tyler Johnson? And now you have to factor that in as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think you'll see as many waiver claims as you want to see, is my guess. Because right now, I think people would have like 5 players they would put a claim in for.
That's the other part, right? Like you're at the point in the preseason where you're getting your rosters set. If you need to pick up 10 guys off the waiver wire, you're in a world of hurt right now.
Yeah, and I don't think the Jags are there. That's the crazy part. They have number 1 waiver wire position, so you do that and you utilize that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jags utilized that enough maybe last year, but they have an opportunity to utilize that, so that's an advantage over the rest of the league.
Bring back Deshaun Gibson. He just got cut.
It's interesting how long he hung around. But I think you bring up a good point about camp. Like, you're bringing somebody in who wasn't with you at all. You really don't know how they fit. You don't know, if they can pick up the system.
Yeah,
you don't know any of those things. So they better be pretty good because coaches don't trust what they don't know.
I mean, even if they are good, like it's still going to take them time to get up and running. Like, I mean, if this is your plan A, then your actual plan A went in the dumpster.
How about the Jags cutting Jay Tufele, 4th-round pick from a year ago?
Yep.
That's going to be a tough thing to do, give up on a draft pick. But I told you guys about him. Now, what I was a little surprised, they cut Antoine, too, number 93. I told you between 93 and 97. I thought it was between those two guys.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they cut both of them. But I guess I'm not surprised they cut Tufele. It's just a bad pick, right?
Yeah. It just didn't work out.
When they drafted him, I remember this. I still have Snapchat video on my phone. Can't play it because I cursed a lot. But when they drafted him and they put up the graphic on the screen, it said, struggles to find the ball. And I guess we can confirm he never could find the ball.
Yeah.
On Tufele, that was like
Yes.
that was like a write-up on him. It's an interesting thing from a defensive tackle.
Like they drafted him and he couldn't find the football.
Yeah.
So I
I
said,
could see that about a corner being written, but that's kind of an interesting thing.
I was very upset because Brevin Jordan was still on the board. I liked Brevin Jordan.
It's
Yeah.
just another way to say he's never around the ball when the play is.
Well, not only that, but who the Detroit kid, St. Brown?
Yes.
He was picked after Tufele.
Yeah, he was.
Amon-Ra. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, listen, that happens every draft. Happens to the Jags a lot.
I mean,
because
Evan
they don't do-
McPherson, too, if we want to play that game. But yeah.
They'll be here all day, man.
You can play that game more with St. Brown. I mean, with Brown than you can with Evan McPherson for me.
They've had
Although
18
I
kickers in
know,
2 years.
I
What do you
know.
mean?
And we got James McCourt now, man. I am not worried about kicker anymore.
Yeah, we'll see.
So Tufele is. So I guess as you look at this roster construction, do you mind a move like that because you understand the scheme change? You see the Minnesota Vikings cut 3 of their top 100 draft picks from last year.
Yeah, man.
Now they had a regime change. How much? I mean, Trent Baalke likes big guys, trenches. I got to believe Tufele was more of a bulky pick. Do you put that on him? Do you just give him a pass because of the scheme change and this is a better scheme anyway and Mike Caldwell comes in and how are you supposed to know that's going to happen, all those things? I mean,
It's supposed to be a partnership between the head coach and the guy running the personnel side of things. So you can't just throw it at, Urban again. And you're like, oh, it's a scheme thing. It's not Baalke's fault. He's still trying to pick guys that are going to make NFL rosters here.
yeah, I wonder, we've been very good. I say I mean the fan base, like not a lot of bulky blame going around.
Not right now, no.
I mean,
I think people are happy
not a
with
lot
this
of
last
praise.
draft.
They're
too.
not willing to go there yet either, but not a lot of blame.
You see some praise certainly around the 2022 draft.
Well, that's true. But
Hasn't
I
had
wonder
time
if
to fail yet.
I wonder if this is one like do people just not care about a 4th-round draft pick and like boom, you already wasted it on a team like this? Or the Jags got to remember, Jags have had like 30 draft picks over the last few years. You're going to lose some of those. So I
Yeah.
mean, you can't hit on 30.
It also helps that one of the things I think a lot of people are excited about with the team this year is that front 7, really. But, certainly the pass rush and the guys up front. Tufele wasn't one of those guys going after the quarterback, but he was certainly one of those guys up against the offensive line in the trenches. So if you feel like that's one of the stronger upgrades you've had in the offseason, maybe it doesn't hurt as much when you lose a guy like him.
I think I will tell you two things came true that I heard in the spring, which means this was a pretty good source.
Okay.
And I've shared this before many a times. Tufele was a guy that it was going to be hard for him in this scheme. I was told that in the spring. Also, the Deshaun Dixon kid they really like, number 47. He's a pass rusher who makes the squad as of right now. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure I saw a whole heck of a lot in games. But they like him to the point where they saw enough in practice.
I want to give him a shot.
And they're going to give him a shot and keep him over others. Now, Jameer Jones makes the squad as well, and he's bounced around the league a little bit. He's got some experience. So, I mean, outside of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, you have a lot unproven on that outside pass rush. I call them pass rush. They call them linebackers in this scheme. But, I mean, there's just not a lot there. I mean, you have Chason, who's supposed to be there, but he's only got, 2 sacks in his career? And then you have Jameer Jones, who's bounced around for a couple seasons out of Notre Dame. And then you have this Dixon kid who's a little bit like maybe project long shot guy. Jags better hope they get a lot of production out of Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen.
They're going to need it, right? I mean, they really want to set the tone with those guys, and obviously you want to see them have help from the other pass rushers like an Arden Key, like a Dwayne Smoot. But, man, you get nervous about the lack of proven commodities, not just on that front, but like throughout the whole team.
Yeah, and see, that's you just brought up a really good point and a good reminder, and this is why you've got guys like Arden Key and Smoot that can move around. They're just not listed in the linebacker room, the way Allen and Trayvon Walker are.
But you're right,
But
they
I
all play the same
view
role
them as
there.
those guys that can rush the passer. So really the Jags should feel comfortable about going 4 deep with their pass rush, and then you do have these other guys like Jones and Dixon. And Chason, listen, he was a lock to make the team. I think they feel better about Chason than the fan base does, but there's still a lot to be proven there from Caleb on Chason. So maybe we should feel pretty good about most of their defense and even some of their depth on defense. I think the other big winner in all of this, by the way, is Devon Hamilton. And we don't talk a lot about Devon, but Tufele they drafted. Malcolm Brown they traded for last year. And the guy still standing out of all of them and winning the job is Devon Hamilton.
Yep.
And I like Devon. I don't see a ton from him the last few years, but there are moments his rookie year especially where you're like, oh, I like how this is working out. And so now will Mike Caldwell and the rest of this defensive staff get the best out of Devon Hamilton in this scheme? We will certainly see. So some interesting – I don't know if the moves were as interesting as I think what it says about who they already have. That's what I'm getting after. We haven't talked about Devon Hamilton in like a year and a half.
I was going to say close to ever, probably.
Yeah, I mean, and now all of a sudden you like – and he plays a position in this defense, by the way, that's probably not going to talk about him a lot anyway. He clogs up the middle. That's what he's going to have to do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a sexy stat position.
It was something the Jags needed some help with last year.
And so, again, this is I think those things are important because he was a draft pick out of that class that it looks like he's paved his way through some changes in defense, schematic changes, plenty of competition. And maybe Devon Hamilton is a guy that deserves more credit than even we're giving him to still be the guy here in Jacksonville.
Agree. He certainly wasn't the cheapest of options they had on the table.
No. Jags still have plenty of money, by the way. I saw a list the other day that I think the top 10 teams against the cap the most, and I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are against it anymore. I think cutting guys like Malcolm Brown certainly help. Rudy Ford helps. And I think now they've got a decent amount of money. They don't have a plethora of it. Like Chicago has like $85 million. They don't have that. But they also are not San Francisco, who actually did create a little cap space yesterday with the move with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I don't really understand the wizard math that happens with some of these teams. We looked at San Francisco last week. They were actually over the cap when we looked at them. They had to do some financial gymnastics to get under the cap, and they ended up doing that with that Garoppolo contract. But I'm looking for the current rank for our Duval Big Cats in terms of the cap. They're towards the bottom. They're a little under the halfway mark.
Yeah, but that's not bad.
No,
if
not
you're
at all.
outside the top 10,
Sure.
that's good. What
They
does
got
it
about
say?
10.5
Does it say what
million.
they have? 10.5 million?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
For
what
this
that
year.
does? That allows you, if you really wanted to at some point at the trade deadline, to make a move for somebody that has a significant salary cap number.
Yeah.
You could probably do it. And now if you have $2 million under the cap, you're going to be very limited. But at $10.5 million, you can actually make a move. Now, are the Jags going to be in a position where they're going to keep adding at the trade deadline? Maybe not, unless they get off to a heck of a start. But
And they will have some decisions to make at the end of the season. They'll be a little bit over. Obviously, some contracts coming up.
who are some of the other big winners surviving the roster cut for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And I guess just to let everybody else out there know, if you haven't seen it, Israel Antwine waived. Kevin Austin Jr. waived. Rashad Berry, Jeff Cotton Jr., Xavier Crawford, who had played a lot, by the way, this preseason. Coy Cronk, he's an offensive lineman. Nick Ford, offensive lineman. Willie Johnson, remember, had that punt return called back in the Hall of Fame game. Gregory Jr., Ayalola, who will go back on the roster probably as their international player, if I have that correct. E.J. Perry, quarterback, waived. Garrett Prince, tight end, waived. Jay Tufeli, as we just talked about. Darrell Williams, backup center, waived. Raekwon Williams, defensive tackle, also waived/injured. So the Jags are down to, again, 54, and they'll make one more move by 4 o'clock today, presumably the kicker, because they're not going to keep two. And my guess is it's going to be James McCourt as the kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think 100% of Jacksonville would agree on that. So who are the other big winners? I just mentioned Devon Hamilton, big winner. Jameer Jones, big winner. Deshaun Dixon, big winner. Josh Thompson, big winner. Undrafted guy out of Texas. Earns himself a job on special teams and the back end at safety. Who else are we missing here from a big winner? Well, Tim Jones, big winner.
Oh, yeah.
And he earned it. He's got more attention. As Stuart Weber just said in our group text on the TV side, Tim Jones has now talked to Action Sports Jacks 3 times in the last week. We had never talked to him before. So that's how much he earned.
Oh, yeah.
He earned a few interviews with Action Sports Jacks
Busy boy.
over the last week. I'll give you another winner because I thought they would go a little light in this room, and at least for now, is Mekhi Sargent, my Key West guy.
Yeah, you thought he wouldn't make it, right?
Yeah,
you thought they would carry
I thought
3.
they'd go 3 backs,
Yeah.
and potentially 6 receivers.
Right.
But after they traded away Laviska Shenault and then cut Laquan Treadwell,
some
that opened
room
the
to
door
be
for
had.
Sargent to at least make it for now. I still wonder if Sargent will be on this roster in a couple weeks. I
you
think
think
that's a
there's-
position they could go get.
Do you think there's all right? So I was going to say, do you think there's a possibility to bring somebody else in as opposed to just?
I
dropping
really
them off?
believe that to be the case,
got
unless
some
I'm
good
just
guys
not
out
as
there.
high on Sargent or haven't seen enough of them that they are.
What do you
Maybe
think
there's
they're
a
looking
reason they
for?
won't.
You think they're looking for a James Robinson type, a versatile
Yes.
guy, or
No, I think right now they should be looking for a veteran pound the ball
A
in
bruiser.
between the tackles
Yeah.
guy. Don't you guys?
oh yeah, I mean it's certainly what they're lacking right now.
Well, not only lacking, but at least for the early going, they're going to have to maybe rely on somebody else other than James to do that. ETN can do some of that. He can run between the tackles, but he's still not like a move the pile forward guy like James Robinson. Who's the goal line guy?
Yeah, ATN also essentially a rookie this year when
is
it comes
Scoop
to
Connor your goal
experience.
line guy right now?
I mean, he would have to be, right? It's not going to be ETN unless they're throwing out to the flat on a screen or something.
Let's
like
take
that.
a look at some of the running backs around the league that are available, some of the names that the Jags could be interested in to add to some of their depth when we come back. We take a break. 53-man roster will be official in about 40 minutes. Teams have until 4 o'clock, so it's been a lot of transactions happening around the National Football League here on a Tuesday. And we're live on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A mix of sun and clouds today. Keep that umbrella nearby with more scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Highs in the upper 80s, dropping to 70 to 75 tonight, and partly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Your Wednesday high near 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jags.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Happy anniversary to them. Put their experience to work for you. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. I've had mine for a handful of years now. Absolutely love it at the house. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Call today and save hundreds, even thousands on a complete home solution for city and well water. Financing available with approved credit. And because the professionals at CGC Water are committed to being your go-to water experts, you can trust their master plumber with all your plumbing needs as well. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Right now, you can take advantage of the $75 drain cleaning special. Call for details. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
We're local, you're local. Shop local. Please shop local retailers right here in the 904.
Shop the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community. Shop these great local businesses.
Financial Institute. We make the shirt. Zero Res. Jack's Beach Body. Florida Pump Service.
Now, more than ever, we need to support local businesses and shop the 904.
They're a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great. To get your business listed, that's shop the 904 at cmg.com. Get your business listed.
Shop the 904.
To get your business listed, email shop the904 at cmg.com.
We're ready to deal. Best Bet St. Augustine is now open. Experience the best in poker, simulcast wagering, and fun card games for all levels at Best Bet St. Augustine. Best Bet's newest card room features 49 gaming tables, a state-of-the-art sports bar, delicious wings, a full-service bar, and freshly made sushi. Open from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Friday and 24 hours on the weekends. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311. For promotions, go to bestbetjacks.com.
Time is running out to get the most money for your used car. Do you have an extra car in the garage or one that needs repairs? Come to the live appraisal event by ACV Auctions on September 9th and 10th to find out how much your vehicle is really worth. Get an inspection, then watch it go live on a nationwide auction and watch the bids come in real time. You can sell it on the spot or just find out what it's worth. It's that easy and it's free. Proudly hosted by the Tom Bush family of dealerships, 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that really wants to help. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
On the south side, we got 6 poly panels, and please make sure they're flush.
Kwame is converting everyone on the block to solar power.
Please get a crew to wrap up 202 South Duane?
He needs more certified installers before the sun sets on his business boom.
Let's pick up the pace. We got a long day.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Really strong. Anytime you can fortify your lines, to me, it always starts with that. You got to check the box, starting most notably with Jordan Davis. So, I think they've closed the gap on Dallas. I probably give Dallas a slight advantage just because of the difference in quarterbacks. But overall, tip of the cap because the Eagles really did have a good offseason.
Got some heat on them.
Man, you guys love the Eagles, don't you?
I really kind of hate them, but for the purposes of this conversation,
yeah, you love them.
I like being right better than I like
riding or
them.
dying with Dak.
Then you will die a slow one.
Everybody's all over the Eagles now.
Oh, yeah. They're trendy. They're hot.
Yeah, don't we have like this thing you brought up? You saw like the GMs that people trust the least is like Howie Roseman, and now he's like kicking ass everywhere.
Yeah, so
says.
there's an agent survey every year where they ask 26 reps about like trending stories. And one of the things they ask every year are, who are the GMs you trust the most and who are the GMs you trust the least? And right there, Eagles GM Howie Roseman at the top. By the way, Roseman had the most last year as well. So 2 years running, the least trustworthy. Now, listen, coming from an agent or a player rep, that might be a good thing for the Eagles, right? It means the guy's getting some good deals done, taking advantage of some people. Maybe the players don't like it, but the team might.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's a good player now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's really developed into a good player. And the Saints couldn't come up, I guess, on a long-term deal with him, and so they trade him. There have been some trades today in the NFL. It wasn't just LaVisca yesterday. But Philadelphia, I mean, it's really going to come down to how good Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've put some pretty good stuff around.
They got good receivers on that team right now.
I mean,
for the first time in a long time.
You know, making a move like this to solidify your defense even more. Their offensive line, I mean, you can argue is the best in football. I mean, it was last year, I think. So it's a lot to like. I'll tell you what, they put that new coach in a good position, didn't they?
Yeah, man.
To succeed. And can he get the most out of them? They're not going to sneak up on anybody. Last year they were sneaking up on people. Now they're becoming like, you know, the favorite trendy topic.
Yeah. Well, the question is, can they graduate from a middle of the pack 8-8, or I should say 8-9 team, to someone with double-digit wins this year? I guess time will tell. If you're playing the Giants twice and you're playing your Cowboys twice and those Commanders twice, I mean, you may have a little bit of help there.
Yeah, I mean, let's not put the Giants, the Commanders, in the Cowboys category, all right? I mean, golly, like I'm just sitting here defending the Cowboys like I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. But they are not the Commanders either.
Yeah, no, that's true. They got some pieces.
Some pieces.
They got some pieces.
I think a lot of people would sign up for some of their pieces.
Oh, yeah. Like 2 of their wide receivers, and their quarterback is good.
Yeah, and their linebacker's not bad.
Tight end is good. Their linebacker is really good.
I mean, and their corner did have 200 picks last year.
I'm just saying, this is a team where you used to fear that offensive line. No one is fearing the offensive line.
True.
You used to fear this running attack even before Zeke, and you're not really fearing the running attack right now with Tony Pollard really driving the bus. And you know, the defense is questionable too, but obviously CeeDee Lamb is a big deal. Dak Prescott. You don't want to discount what Zeke can do, but he doesn't seem like the Zeke of old at this point. It's been a couple of years now.
Well, listen, you've heard me say it. I'm a big Dallas fan, but I'm not a big Zeke fan.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but I think he's, in my opinion, he's the most overrated guy. If I had a vote, I don't know, one of these kind of votes, like you pulled out of the Athletic
like a
or something.
survey, yeah.
If I had a vote for most overrated player in the league, it would be Zeke. If I had a vote for most underrated player, I said yes, it would be Kirk Cousins. Like, it wouldn't even be hard for me. Like, that's it. And I might be a little too dramatic on the Zeke stuff.
Well, I think it's a year or two past its prime, to be honest with you. I would have agreed with that take last year and maybe not as much the year before, but it would have been a good take. This year, I think people see it coming, and it's been a while for him. So I don't know that everyone is regarding him as top of the list when it comes to running backs anymore, but I get the point, right? Like, he's got that name where you go, yeah, man, he's supposed to be a good player. And then you watch him carry the rock 15 times for 60 yards, and you're like, what were we scared of?
Yeah, I most overrated player from last year, I guess, would have to be contractually like Kenny Golladay, right?
Oh, man, yes.
I mean, is he even making the roster? Have they cut him yet? But there's some talk that they might cut him.
I hadn't seen that they did. Let me check the Giants.
Kenny
movements.
Golladay has not been cut.
He hasn't?
No.
I think there was some conversation, though, over the last day or so that he could get cut. I don't know if that's somebody just surmising or real stuff. All right. Hey, where do the Jags need to go on their roster? Casey, you're waiver wire number 1. You're in Trent Baalke's office right now. And you're like one of the coaches on the roster. Pick whatever coach, because you're about to go to the table and say, hey, Trent, we need to add more depth here. Or this guy's out there. He can really help us. Like, this is a big improvement for X. Where are you going?
Tyler Johnson.
So you like Tyler Johnson more than Preston Williams? This is receivers, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, it is receivers. And yes, I do. Because Kenyon Drake's gone, so we move on.
Yeah, because he's going to Baltimore, it looks like, right?
Yeah. And, I don't feel strongly enough about Marlon Mack over Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson's, young. He's, 2 years in the league. He made
he's
plays.
24.
Yeah, he's made plays. He's not fast. Clay Harbor documented that on Twitter if you haven't seen it. He's slow.
F475?
Yeah, but it's okay. Urban's not the coach anymore. You're going to, at some point, have to replace Marvin Jones probably. I'm not saying this is the guy to do it. I'm just saying you bring in a young receiver who's made plays in the league. I'm with it.
It's so funny how quick I was looking. Wikipedia had him already as a Jag. And I saw that Clay Harbor, and I said Clay Harbor 475, and then I saw somebody tweet, I don't know who it was, the Jags should run the waiver wire claim to get Tyler Johnson. I said, well, they might beat Tyler Johnson there if he's running a 475. I wasn't going to be very nice on social media, so I thought it would be better if I said it here.
He's talented, man. He can play.
Do you get concerned? Preston Williams has had some numbers, too, with Miami. And do you get concerned about a guy that was with Tom Brady the last couple years and kind of the whole Brady makes everybody better type thing, even the slow guy?
No.
You got to believe he brings some of that good stuff with him, too, right? Some of the influence of playing with the GOAT. Obviously, you're not going to have the same quarterback play from whoever you're going to play with, but maybe he learned a thing or two he could pass on. That might be good in the locker room.
I did see some folks, talking about the size of Williams, which I get intrigued about. That big. Who are the Jags throwing to in the red zone?
Tim Jones.
Do they need a big receiver?
They don't really have. We actually talked about this last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't think the Jags are taller than 6'2" or 6'3" in that receiver room.
Well, not only that, but they also don't really have the big tight end. Now, Dan Arnold's pretty big. He's a pretty big guy. So red zone wise, you could use him. But
they're going to run the leapfrog. Somebody gets down, you jump up off them.
Yeah. And listen, we have raved about, hey, look how tall this Colin Johnson, right? We said, look how good he's going to be in the red zone. That didn't really manifest itself.
Sure.
We've done it with Mercedes Lewis, who actually did have some nice years in the red zone.
But sure, you got to put a few things together to make it work.
But it could be a little bit of an overrated topic. But if you're looking at their receiving core and you're saying, hey, what's different or what don't we have? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure Tyler Johnson checks off a lot of the boxes of what don't we have. I think a guy like Preston Williams, for the sake of this argument, does. He's 6'5". He's a big guy.
Okay, but hypothetically, Jags go out, they bring in Williams. Do you think you're seeing him that often?
I don't think you're seeing any guy very often. All right. I think you're trying to build depth in your room just in case. I don't think you're going to see Tim Jones very often.
If you're bringing in the guy because he's a good red zone option, but you're not actually going to go to him in the red zone, what are we bringing in at that point?
That's my point, though. Aren't you more apt to put a guy in who's 6'5" in those red zone situations than you are where's Tyler Johnson going to fit? Who you taking out?
Yeah.
You can take somebody out in the red zone and say, okay, just for sake of argument, we're going to take Zay Jones out of here and we're going to put Preston Williams in because he's 6'5" and he can go up and get it and he gives us a little bit dynamic. Where are you? When on the field are you doing that with Tyler Johnson if you go pick him up? See, that's where I'd start thinking if I'm the Jags. Maybe Casey's right. Maybe Tyler Johnson is a better receiver than Preston Williams.
I just figured
out
why
he offer your team something.
I figured out why Preston got cut. His catch percent of his targets in the last 3 years is 50.
Oof.
Yep, that's why Preston's not on the team.
Not great.
Not good at all. 50%. Tyler Johnson, 66.7.
Casey, how come you wouldn't go out and grab a Sony Michel or a Phillip Lindsay? You don't think we need the help in the running back room?
Phillip Lindsay is what you got, not a goal line back.
Sure.
I mean, Sony Michel, maybe. I just think Tyler Johnson has potential. I could be wrong. But Sony Michel, yeah, he could help you in the immediate, but when James Robinson comes back, where's the Sony Michel carries? They're probably non-existent. I think Tyler Johnson's a guy that could be on your team for a couple years if you claim him.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could be a long-term play, right? And that's how you got to look at some of this, too. And I've said that before because even Tim Jones or whoever you're keeping is Marvin Jones is here probably for a year. This is it. So if you want to start looking down the road a little bit, you build the back end of that roster that could potentially be front end. I'm not going to be mad at it. I think it's a fair argument if I was in the room, be like, well, wait a minute. This guy gives us something we don't have. Is it worth taking a flyer on his catch percentage versus Tyler Johnson, who probably won't see the field. We got a chance to get this guy in the field more, at least in some situational football. And so anyway, I like your pick, and I think a lot of the folks out there would agree with your pick.
Thank you, folks out there.
Like I would actually go with give me the list of running backs that are out there now, and I'd start making a play for somebody, a veteran guy, and not Duke Johnson, by the way.
Not Tevin Coleman.
Marlon Mack.
Tevin Coleman would interest me more than
Sony Michel.
I kind of forgot about Tevin Coleman. Not that I'm not changing my pick.
Well, doesn't Tevin Coleman do the same thing Etienne does?
He's goal line a little bit. He's bigger.
All right.
I mean, again, it's like, who do you want for 2 weeks? Sony Michel or Tevin Coleman?
Sony Michel. How about this? Let me throw this left-handed tangent your way, this cog in the works. You dropped Rudy Ford. Do you go out and grab someone you know will get some reps on special teams?
Well, that's where they probably will build. Some of these guys, running back can play that role. Linebacker can play that role. Really, a lot of the secondary positions could play that role. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised they try to upgrade there in special teams. But they've got to be – it's the more you can do now to make the roster and bump somebody else out.
Yeah.
You've got to be pretty good. And we don't look at it that way. I think like the inside football people will. They'll be like, yeah, but this is why. This guy can also do this as a gunner on special teams or whatever else on punt block. And we don't really look at the game, I think, all the time like that. But
Tyler Johnson, a special teamer? Do we have any idea?
Probably because he's a receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, like if you're going to be a back-end receiver, you better be able to play special teams.
Yeah.
Like, is he good?
But I don't know if he's good. Like, I don't know him.
Special teams.
Makes a good special
He only
team.
was on 19% of special team snaps last year.
Interesting. Which means he's probably not that good.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why he's getting released.
Sony Michel's an interesting name because we know the name. But where's the game? He's now been cut by or traded from, the Rams to the Patriots? Or was he the Patriots to the Rams?
Backwards. Patriots to the Rams.
Patriots to the Rams. And now cut by the Dolphins?
Yeah, he was only there for camp this year, I think.
Yeah, so what's the problem with Sony Michel? Like,
I just don't think
those
they
are the
have
ones
room
where I
there.
ask, I'm like, all right, what's the problem then?
I get it. I think on Miami, though, they're pretty settled in that backfield. I think that's why they turned Drake away as well. But Sony Michel, I don't really get it. Coming out of college, I thought he was going to be a better pro than he had been. He really wasn't used in New England. I was like, Belichick's going to Belichick. They don't really love to lean on running backs over there. Then he goes to the Rams and nothing. I was like, what? What happened to this guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
He just got beat out.
Maybe he's just not. He is who I didn't think he was.
There you go.
Now, listen, I mean, Sony Michel, to me, he carries intrigue. Again, I think because I know him. Like, I've seen him. I feel better about it. You all right
I
over
think
there?
he's watching soccer. I don't think that's about you.
Was my mic on?
No, but it was
we
loud
can hear
enough.
you, buddy.
Okay, I was like, what the heck?
Chelsea just give up a goal?
Yep, another one.
Chelsea stinks, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They're trash. I'd take my shirt off if I had another one.
Please don't.
So let me give you some Sony Michel numbers because they're all over the map, right? Like in his rookie year, which is where I think a lot of people saw the promise, it was in that touchdown number. 8 starts, 13 total games, 931 yards on 209 carries, so a 4.5 average, 6 touchdowns. All right, he didn't really get thrown the ball that much. The next year, 7 touchdowns on similar carries and similar yards. The following year, I think he dealt with injuries, cut his carries by 2/3, cut his yards in half, had a huge average at 5.7, but only 1 touchdown. Goes to the Rams, similar carries, 208, less yards in the 800s, 845, only 4 touchdowns. Different kind of offense, I guess, but this is who this guy is. Like, we're not going to see 1,300 yards from him. We're not going to see 400 yards from him. 5 touchdowns-ish, 800 yards from the guy. Just bruising.
Yeah, we'll see if, again, I wouldn't hate it because I'd be intrigued by it, but I also don't know if that's a direction they'll go. Yeah. Again, you got to be really careful right now to get wrapped up in name recognition, I think. I'd almost rather see a diamond in the rough that you feel like I haven't heard of as much versus the old big name that you're trying to hope still has something left in the tank this time of year. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. People get cut for various reasons. Situational play is always important. Maybe it's a better fit here than somewhere else. And that can really change for people. Let's take a break. When we come back, there'll be a Jags announcement that will make me right. We'll be back on ESPN 690. For all the support on the Dream 18 cards, we sold out of Dream 18 cards, and we're raising more funds for local charities through the Dream 18. And coming up next, it's a Dream 18 golf tournament, September 19th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Registration is now open. We'd love you to be a part of it. Buy a foursome, or maybe just play on an individual basis. Maybe it's a tee sign. Get your company involved. Here's how you register. Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com. September 19th at the Golf Club of Southampton. Play on our Dream 18, Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com.
Everyone, who's manning the front tonight?
Big E's nightclub needs a bouncer with a military background.
Dougie, I need you to keep eyes on the back.
Security who lays down the no-no when the unts get too intense.
That Swedish DJ duo is back tonight. Y'all remember last time.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for calling Navy Federal Credit Union. How can I help you?
Hi, if I'm in the Army, not in the Navy, am I still eligible for membership?
Yes, you are.
What about my sister in the Air Force?
Her too.
And my dad's a Marine.
We serve all branches of the military, veterans, and their families.
My dog is a retired military working dog.
I'll see what I can do.
Find out if you're eligible at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Never paint your house again.
Hey Jay, at Rhino Shield we talk about protecting your home from the harsh Florida weather because we have seen what happens to those cracks when they get ignored.
Stucco cracks are more than just superficial. Without repair, they can allow water to get into the walls, causing water damage, mold, and even wood rot.
And Jay, some of our customers have been tied up in litigation for up to 4 years trying to be made whole again.
Rhino Shield your home now before you have to go to litigation, and you'll never have to paint again.
And after 22 years in business, our customers continue to trust us to protect and beautify their homes with the most scientifically advanced coating.
With our help, you can have pride in your home again. Call us for 1 year same as cash, 25% off, and a 25-year warranty.
Call 904-519-5055 or visit us at rhinoshieldjacks.com. And remember, with Rhino Shield, you'll never have to paint again.
Rhino Shield.
Ready to swoop in the fall of 2022? The UNF Ospreys are ready with a lot of momentum on campus. New improvements at UNF Arena with basketball season right around the corner and tickets already on sale. The fall schedule underway in volleyball and men's and women's soccer, also men's and women's cross country. Get the latest news, schedules, results, and information on tickets for all things Ospreys at UNFOspreys.com. Join the Osprey Club, attend a game or a match. Be a part of the momentum at the University of North Florida at UNFOspreys.com.
When Smart Tools give you control, you own it. When you're confident in your decisions, you own it. When you're sure someone's got your back, you own it. At Community First Credit Union, you can own it all. With free digital banking, fewer fees, and a team that's ready to help, you're in control of your money so you can live your life your way. Go ahead and own it. Add an account today at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union by NCUA.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Shacks Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
Hi, I'm Mandy Moore. Stand Up to Cancer is closer than ever before to achieving its mission to make every cancer patient into a long-term survivor. To learn more and get Advantage miles, go to standuptocancer.org/American Airlines.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Count on Lowe's for Labor Day savings to kick off your fall. Tidy up your yard with an Ego leaf blower starting at $199. These battery-powered blowers provide power and performance, clearing leaves and debris with ease. Plus, save $50 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner gas grill, now $299. This Lowe's exclusive can fit up to 30 burgers. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. Grill offer valid through 9/7 while supplies last.
It's the Blitz Scoreboard Show every Friday night at 9 p.m. on ESPN 690. Join Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and the Hall of Famer Kevin Sullivan for scores, analysis, interviews, and live video of games on the ESPN 690 social media platforms.
I think he's going to be on the quarterback carousel. I do. It's lined up a lot of different ways. These things can happen. We just saw Jimmy Garoppolo re-sign with the San Francisco 49ers, take a reduction. There's a no-trade clause. There also is a no-franchise tag clause. Who came from the San Francisco 49ers? McDaniel, the head coach. You think he has some familiarity with Jimmy Garoppolo? Let's start that rumor right now, Tyreek Hill.
That is Keyshawn Johnson.
Did he mean the Patriots?
I wasn't really listening to him.
Oh, Keyshawn was basically saying Josh McDaniels has some familiarity with Garoppolo. Let's start that rumor, but I thought he said who came from the 49ers. Like, I think he's talking about Garoppolo on the Patriots.
Well, that's Keyshawn Johnson and part of KJM. Jay Williams, Max Kellerman in the morning, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. on ESPN 690. Tony Baselli was on the show this morning, so we might hear from Tony about what he had to say to those guys. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz, ESPN 690 in the afternoon, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Casey Kurtz, Brian Middleton, 6 until 7 p.m. Action Sports Shacks OT. And then what's today? Tuesday? We got a Shrimper game on the road at Gwinnett. Shrimp got to get going now. A few games back in the International League standings.
Not many left, right? How many we're talking about?
Talking about a month left. Actually, the season goes longer now in AAA than I had remembered. So it'll be all the way through the month of September. So I was right. Love being right.
Now, wait a second, because yesterday you made sure to lay claim to your rightness as well. You got a 2-day streak here.
Did I? Like, what was I right about yesterday?
I tried to block it out. I really don't remember. I do remember you celebrating
you cut
it,
up
though.
something that I was LaVisca Chenault wrong.
Yes. In all fairness, though, the way I cut it made it look like you were wrong. In actuality, you were like, I don't think he's going to get traded. I would like to see it play out, but okay.
That was good. That was a good clip last night, yesterday.
Do it.
Mekhi Sargent gets waived. So the Jags do have 3.
Yep.
Have 3 in their running back room.
So they're keeping 2 kickers?
Yes.
That's so crazy. Now, what does that say to you if you're McCourt?
It says he'll be gone once we find somebody we want to claim.
Really? I mean, like, what a lack of confidence you're showing in your guy.
Well, McCourt, by the way, is he's the front runner. So it really, you got to believe Verity is the guy that's gone, right?
But he's not, right?
That's what I'm saying. Verity will be gone when they find somebody they want to claim.
Yeah. Well,
I'm saying, what does it say to McCourt in that if he's the guy, why not just shed Verity?
I don't know. Like, I'm not sure why. They must really like Verity. Like, so what happens, I think, in these situations is you're always scouting other teams.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's not like they just said, hey, let's see who's available today, and boom, we'll go get him on the waiver wire. Well, the Jags have been looking at other kickers on other teams for the last month,
right?
Knowing they have a kicking problem. And the way this worked is, okay, Chargers waive McCourt, boom, they gave him a call, he comes on board. But they probably were also high, and my guess is Verity may have even been higher on their board. And the Colts waive him, and they said, oh, shoot, we want to take a look at this kid too. Let's bring him in. So that's why they brought him in on Friday, even though McCourt had went like 8 for 8 in practice. And you're like, hey, we might have our guy. And even though Verity misses a kick on Saturday, like, but he's just here for like a day. I mean, we didn't even really got a good look at it. We don't even know the kid. We don't even know how to say his name, whatever it is, all this stuff. So they keep him around and say, we're going to kick for the next couple of weeks and really see and make sure. Or there's something that we don't know that's going on with McCourt, like he has a very slight injury, and they want to see how that manifests itself over the next couple of weeks. Like, nobody had any idea. Who was the guy they cut? Fry. Nobody had any idea he had a groin injury. I mean, I was down on the sideline for that game, and nobody was talking about an injury to Fry until like 2 days later, and then they waived him because he had a groin injury. So my point, like, I have no idea if McCourt's hurt. I mean, he was kicking in practice today, so I doubt he is. But I'm just guessing they're high on Verity.
Yeah, they have to be.
And they don't want to. They still don't trust their kicking situation to be like, wait, we're not just going to let this guy go just because we think we might have found the guy. Let's make sure we found the guy. I mean, he's only been here for a week.
How embarrassing would that be if they thought they found the guy and it wasn't the guy and they had already let go of the other kicker and now they had to start all over again?
Well, and that's what they're trying to avoid. I mean, look at, who was it, the Ravens? Did the Ravens? No, not the Ravens. Carolina brought in, the Ravens don't need to bring in a kicker, but the Carolina Panthers brought in 5 guys. 5 guys yesterday.
You know who one of them was?
Yeah, it was Matthew Wright.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's, by the way,
Did he
that's
make
the
the team?
first time. That's the first time, Casey, Matthew Wright's got a look from somebody else since he's been released from the Jags.
That's fine.
Isn't that weird?
I mean,
Casey, you should take credit for that.
I mean,
You
Ryan
can-
Santoso was up with the Giants like a day after the Jags cut him.
That's true.
He's a big cat, though.
Just not
I
a lot
think
of
people are-
intelligent GMs as well.
I think people are enamored with the size of Santoso.
Of course.
By the way, Aaron, one of your Jets is getting cut. Former 3rd-round pick Chuma.
Edoga.
Yep.
Yeah, he's garbage. No offense, Chuma.
Not your. Say that to his face. I
Yeah,
dare
exactly. Yeah, he's a big cat too, but somewhat of a turnstile. We'll go on without him. It'll be
you.
okay.
We are so brave behind the microphone.
No offense, Chuma. No offense.
But anyway, isn't it? It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
That's
just
that
a
they
weird
have
story.
2 kickers right now. It doesn't. They must really like this guy.
Yeah.
Is the point of it. So
then,
we'll keep you posted.
if they do, hypothetically, let's say you got it. Let's say you nailed it with your thinking, your thought process. What next? When? Like, what are they waiting to see?
They're not going to be able to see him in a game. I mean, I think
2 weeks.
I would just say by next Tuesday, they're just going to let this play out a little, or maybe later in the week.
Just
They
watch it
just
in
kind of
practice?
watch it in practice, see how it unfolds. Just make sure they feel good about their guy to avoid letting somebody go that they might feel pretty good about.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we've seen Verity kick once and he missed.
Yeah.
So we have no idea. Like, we don't feel as strongly from the outside as potentially they do on the inside.
I did see a rumor on Twitter that McCourt was going to be on The Masked Singer next week. So maybe they're
Might
keeping him
miss
in
a
camp
couple
for this.
weeks.
Yes, he might be gone for a couple of weeks.
Hey, you brought up a good topic the other day. I'm just going to spend a moment on it and shift away from football for a second. Judge hits his 50th home run yesterday, so he's on pace for what, like 63 now? And Pujols hit 694 yesterday. So he's trying to get to 700.
Yeah.
You brought up the question, what's more fascinating? What is more interesting to you? KC baseball fan?
Pujols, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just because of the longevity?
Yeah.
I think Aaron
Well,
Judge
he
is
must
a little
really be
more-
locked in on Chelsea.
No, I don't know how we got here. We got 1 minute left in the segment. I wasn't following fully what was happening.
You can question and critique in our next meeting about my my hosting skills. But how about if we just get a quick thought?
How about this?
What's more exciting? Because it's about a minute topic.
Okay, I gave you my thought.
Instead of that, why don't we bring another producer in to just sit behind Casey for the next 2 weeks while we evaluate what we've got on the roster?
Good luck with that, because I know what you have on the roster here. Good luck.
So do I.
Dumpster diving.
So what are you more excited about?
I'm more excited about Judge, but only because I find it really hard to get excited about the Albert Pujols thing when I'm just not finding it credible whatsoever.
Wow,
I don't find his career number credible. I certainly don't find this season's numbers credible. And I'm not I can't accuse anything. I don't have any evidence.
But
There's
you
nothing
are.
there. I'm using the eye test though. And I'm looking at this guy going, he hasn't been able to do it for a while. Suddenly he's not injured. He's out there swinging like he hasn't swung in 5-6 years. I'm just finding it hard to believe in. That's all.
Well, I think the one because it's a Yankee going after Roger Maris's number, and then I think you can make the case the Sosa McGuire Bonds thing shouldn't count. You're not going to do that with 700 home runs. He's still not going to get past Hank Aaron.
It would be interesting to finally have someone up there, not a steroids guy, with that record.
Yeah, so I find myself more intrigued by Judge, and it's just kind of, all right, finish the race for Albert Pujols. We just finished an hour. We'll be back at 4 o'clock hour coming up next on ESPN 690. See that transition to a topic even got out on time, Casey.
We're local, you're local. Shop local. Please shop local retailers right here in the 904.
Shop the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community. Shop these great local businesses.
Ice Capade Frozen Treats, Armstrong Fence Company, Claude Nolan Cadillac, Annie Ruse Carry Out and Catering, Main Street Wholesale,
Now, more than ever, we need to support local businesses and shop the 904.
They're a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great. To get your business listed, email shop the904 at CMG. Shop the904 at CMG.com. Get your business listed.
Shop the 904.
To get your business listed, email shop the904 at CMG.com.
When I moved to Jacksonville 15 years ago, I found Nimnick Buick GMC. That led to the Acadia, a couple of them, in fact, and now the GMC Sierra truck. I'm on my second one of those, all from Nimnick Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade. I know the product, the service, and I know the people. From Bill Nimnick to Jackie Lynch and James Jones, they've been my friends since 2008. Nimnick has been your friend in Jacksonville since 1941. NimnickBuickGMC.com. It's where I'll get my next truck, or maybe it'll be my kid's first vehicle, at Nimnick Buick GMC.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
Experience the excitement of our card games at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. Whether you're a first-timer or an experienced pro, Best Bet's card games offer winning times for all. Best Bet proudly offers easy-to-learn card games like one-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, DJ Wild Stud Poker, and more. And our knowledgeable, friendly staff are here to help you have the best time. You must be 18 years or older to play at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Not 100, not 200, not even 300. I'm talking 400 pre-owned on the lot, ready to test drive at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. All makes, all models, all waiting for you to test drive and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Your next great ride is waiting for you at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Endless Summer Sale, August 26th through September 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $29.39. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Astros, the team with the best record in the American League, placed ace Justin Verlander on the injured list with a right calf injury. Verlander, the favorite for AL Cy Young, is tied for the MLB lead in wins with 16. NFL, the Ravens, with a banged-up backfield, expected to sign former Raiders running back Kenyon Drake. Meanwhile, the big story for Baltimore is still, will the Ravens and quarterback Lamar Jackson agree on a new contract before the former NFL MVP's deadline of Week 1? There is a way for that to happen, explains ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
Come up with a deal where both sides can claim victory. Maybe you give him an average per year of $55 million, so he clearly is the highest paid quarterback. The Ravens can claim victory where they don't go to $230 million. So you put something in a deal where both sides feel like it's not ideal, but we both can claim victory.
Mike Tannenbaum on Get Up. NBA Clippers guard John Wall said he considered suicide during family and injury struggles the last 3 years. The 31-year-old said he was in the darkest place he's ever been in following the deaths of his mother and grandmother. Also said he began attending therapy to deal with those losses in the middle of rehabbing a torn Achilles.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine Studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
Yeah, I do, and I think the problem they're going to have is at some point, it's one thing for the media to speculate or fans, but what happens if Trent Williams or Nick Bosa walks into Kyle Shanahan and says, hey, we all love Trey Lance. We think he has an incredible future, but look, he hasn't played a lot of football, and Brett Favre failed in Atlanta. Aaron Rodgers basically didn't play the first 3 years of his career. Josh Allen was very average his first year. It takes time, and they have a really good roster now, so there's another dynamic in the building they're going to have to deal with, which is what happens when somebody wants to, suggest playing Jimmy Garoppolo and they're a veteran player.
That is Mike Tannenbaum. And I think I've brought that scenario up a couple of times in San Francisco. I think that is a possibility. I think you've got to be careful of that if you're the San Francisco 49ers, at least aware of it. With Jimmy Garoppolo still in the building. You didn't have to worry about that if Garoppolo was gone. Now I think you kind of do. And it's all up to Trey Lance. He can obviously quiet that and show some signs. They want to go with Trey Lance. Like, I get it. The team wants to rally around Trey Lance. Like, I get it. There's probably higher upside. But for 6 weeks, man, if they feel like their season's going not in the right direction, those guys are going into that office. I guarantee it.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Without Garoppolo on that team, Trey Lance has a full season to mess it up and still come back next year and progress. And that's just not the case this year.
Absolutely. We brought up, by the way, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke are meeting with the media here at 4 o'clock right now. There's also a big soccer announcement that just took place, and we're there with Action Sports Jacks. We are everywhere. Marcel Robinson there, Stuart Weber down at the stadium. Pro soccer back in Jacksonville with the headline says Tim Tebow back to USL franchise. And the USL, Casey, you understand all this stuff a little bit better than me. I don't know if you've dissected it all yet, but it looks like it's kind of, it's not a true rival to the Armada. Like, the Armada are not going anywhere, but it's more like staking a flag in the ground for this USL, which I think has tried to get in Jacksonville for quite some time. At least that's what Stuart Weber tried to tell me.
Yeah, they're not the MLS. They're higher than the Armada. They're lower than the MLS. They'll play the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's the same league, if you're familiar with that. So, yeah, it's a big deal. But, it'll be cool for Jacksonville. And then, obviously, Stuart said there's a stadium that has to be involved with that. So we'll see how that plays out. But, it'll be cool if it comes through.
So Stuart knows this stuff really well, right? And he's done a lot of work with the Armada. So what happened, I'll just read Marcel's tweet. USL Championship announced that Jax USL has acquired the rights to a USL Championship expansion franchise, but they don't intend to play until 2025. So that's what I'm talking about with the flag in the ground.
Yeah.
So, it's 2022. So this is basically like your favorite college football team scheduling something for 10 years down the road.
But are they building something, or are they going to probably just pay to occupy it?
Yeah, so Stewart says USL has long coveted Jacksonville as a market to place a team to join Miami FC and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The announcement sets into motion with the ambitious goal of a 15,000-seat stadium.
Wow.
According to their website. Worth noting that globally, some of the best rivalries in soccer come from crosstown teams. The U.S., especially in lower leagues, have not been able to replicate that so far. Looking a few years in advance, but Jax could be the latest test of that. 15,000-seat stadium?
That's no
for
slouch.
Soccer?
No slouch, man.
Like, that seems kind of big.
You're talking bigger.
Casey's glued to Chelsea over there. But how many Caseys are there? 15,000?
You're talking a bigger capacity than the arena. You're talking bigger.
Well, it's just slightly smaller than the arena.
I thought the arena was 12 and change.
No, I think it can be. Maybe I thought you can get like 17, 18 in for a concert. So maybe that's different from a seating capacity because of the floor space.
Yeah, you might be right. I have capacity listed here at 15, but they may be able to finagle that.
That's
a little bit.
That's a good That's the same as like that stadium.
That is a giant venue for soccer.
Right. How much does the Shrimp can get about 10 in there?
Is it that high? I thought it was less than that. Let me look that up. Baseball
Yeah,
grounds.
I think they've had crowds. Now, that might include standing room only and everything.
Yeah, I've seen a concert there where they had people on the field, but capacity is 11,000 there for baseball.
I don't know what, say, UNF seats. They only have one side of the bleachers, but I don't, like Hodges Stadium. I'm not really sure what that looks like. But 15,000, man, that seems like a big place.
So Hodges holds 12.
Does it?
Yeah.
Wow, really? It holds 12, huh? And that's with one side. So, I mean, 15,000 seats.
Did you really need it is the question.
If that were to be the case. Again, we'll see what happens with it. It's for down the road, but it's a big announcement today. Tim Tebow, part of that ownership group that could set in motion 3 years. And by the way, I've said this, the Armada are not going anywhere. They're still working on their own deal that I think would eventually be a part of like a Major League Soccer MLS system.
Maybe the Armada end up sharing the pitch with this new team.
I doubt that. It doesn't sound like that to me. It does not sound like that to me. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz. Casey, Chelsea still down 2-1.
He's so annoyed.
No idea, Brent. I'm rolling on the press conference trying to listen to Doug Peterson trying Balky to pull you audio.
He's so mad.
Pull me audio.
Yeah.
God forbid you ask Casey for something.
That's amazing. Thanks for trying to pull the audio.
He's doing
I'm
you
just trying to
favors.
get a good Chelsea soccer score.
He's being a good guy. He's a good Samaritan right now.
Amazing. Like he gets himself into like a Casey meter of 2.
Yeah.
Like he put himself there.
Yeah, it
because he
happened way
gets so
before
mad
the
about
sound.
Casey.
It was mad about,
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Yes, he was mad about the soccer to begin with. Yeah.
I'm going to start calling Chelsea the fighting Caseys. All right, listen. You brought this up, so I want to get to it. You printed this out for us. You did some like show work.
A little prep.
And so what's interesting about this is it's all NFL topics and it's an agent survey.
Yeah.
Right? So give us more.
Well, you got to take it with a grain of salt because of that, right? On the one hand, I think because it's anonymous, you get a little more of the truth telling here, right? They ask some questions. People aren't afraid to offend people. But at the same time, you're coming from a specific angle. So like we said before, when we were talking about who they trust the most and the least when it comes to GMs, that might have more to deal with an agent getting taken advantage of than someone who's actually a bad person.
Yeah, who's got good relationships with who, right?
But they started it out with Deshaun Watson as a conversation, and it's one we've been having here, obviously, for a long time, and it's kind of calmed down now, as the NFL had hoped, going according to plan, by the way, till he comes back in October. But they asked all these agents what the most interesting or surprising decision of the offseason was. Deshaun Watson running away with it. But Kyler Murray's homework study film clause also made the list at second place. Russell Wilson's trade making the list at third place. If you had to think about some of these offseason narratives and things that happened, I'm not sure too much was bigger than that. Maybe the Tom Brady Dolphins thing in my mind was bigger than the Russell Wilson trade, only because Russell Wilson is on the other side of that mountain in his career, but it's not like he's done. He's got years to go, so it was a pretty big trade. I'm not sure about that. But they also asked him what they make of Watson's fully guaranteed $230 million contract.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And I thought it was an interesting response because the agents believe that this is going to be the future of these quarterback contracts. And I think they get into this a little bit later. But you're looking at a team in the Browns that's in the AFC North that's constantly competing with these upper-level quarterbacks, whether it's Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. And as they mentioned in the piece, Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. Regardless of who's under center, chances are Mike Tomlin isn't losing more than 7 games in a season. He just doesn't do it. So Cleveland felt like they had to do something. But at what cost, right?
Yeah, at $230 million. That's what the cost was.
I mean, above and beyond the money, too.
So I guess one of these agents, I understand why Cleveland did it. The AFC's loaded at quarterback. Look at their division. Pittsburgh's Pittsburgh. If you have a top 5 quarterback in the league, which some people did prior to all this, those quarterbacks never come available in their prime.
So they
kind of justified
it. Yeah. But again, they're agents.
It's very friendly to an agent.
Oh, yeah. If you're signing a $230 million guaranteed deal, the agent's picking up probably 23 of that. So you're walking away with a hefty payday.
There's some other interesting notes here. Again, you got the Lamar Jackson stuff, which Lamar Jackson.
I love the take on Lamar Jackson.
You go ahead, read it, because I'm going to also find you some Lamar Jackson that came out yesterday where he kind of involves himself in the conversation on Twitter. Like he's actually taken to social media, which is very unique, I think.
Yeah. The whole thing has been very unique, I think. He's an interesting cat. I think a lot of people just looked at Lamar representing himself as like, well, this guy's a dumb athlete and doesn't know what he's doing. But listen to this take, because it kind of opened my eyes to the thing. Question was, Lamar acting as his own agent, entering the final year of his rookie contract without a new deal. What do you make of the thing? And this agent goes, hey, look, by representing himself and not negotiating, it actually allowed a lot of other contract negotiations to play themselves out. Lamar ended up working himself into a raise. According to this agent, had he had representation, they would have pushed him to sign this deal a long time ago, before he ever got to camp, before OTAs, before the Kyler Murray deal, before the Watson deal. So now
that's interesting that an agent would have pushed him to do it.
Yeah. So now you're looking at the Murray deal and you're going, well, you're going to pay me more than that guy, right? So he probably made himself a few $1 million by being patient. Everyone's looking at him going, well, you're crazy. You walk on the field and break your leg. You got no protection. Maybe he sees it differently.
Well, so here's a Twitter back and forth on Lamar Jackson. I thought this was fascinating. Somebody said, I think just somebody on Twitter, it wasn't anybody in particular, said, so Lamar Jackson's a league MVP and he still hasn't broken the bank, ? Ravens, you're on the hot seat. Give that man $250 million guaranteed before you write a check your blank can't cash. Williams says he wants more. They already offered that. I mean, these are just two random people on Twitter, and Lamar Jackson jumps in. It's not like Peter King said that or Schefter said it.
It's just two guys tweeting at each other.
Yeah, the no blue check marks, if you value that stuff. And Lamar Jackson's like, no, they didn't. When he said they offered it, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Very interesting to hear him just even jump back in like that.
Well, I think here's a guy who doesn't like how he's getting painted right now. And maybe he would have taken the $250. Maybe he's like, I would have taken it.
Yeah, he went back and forth on Twitter quite a bit, actually. This guy says, as much as I love Lamar, this is great, a fully guaranteed deal is just bad business. Just because a horrible franchise, the Cleveland Browns, did horrible business giving Watson that contract doesn't mean other teams should follow. Honestly, I'm hoping Lamar gets a 10-year, $500 million deal. Lamar Jackson replies, you don't love Lamar.
This guy. How do you not love Lamar Jackson?
I know, that's great. And then RG3, who used to be teammates with him, I think he was teammates for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Offer needs to be a 6-year, $318 million fully guaranteed deal. 53 a year, highest paid player ever, unanimous MVP winner, puts in the work. Team guys stop playing with him.
Wow.
You're not he's not the best quarterback in the league.
Okay, will he be, though?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think he's ever getting there?
No.
All right.
No.
Because apparently a lot of people feel he's that valuable to his franchise. I don't know. I look at the Ravens franchise and I'm like, who else is on this team, at least on offense, that you're giving to Lamar Jackson, and the guy's still going out and being an MVP?
Yeah, listen.
And to that, it's very Aaron Rodgers.
Lamar's been very good. He's been very good. You can't, I'm not trying to take away. I feel like sometimes when you have these arguments, you're saying, oh, the guy stinks or he's bad. No, I'm not trying to do that. Lamar Jackson's going to get paid. He should get paid. They've invested in him. They changed the whole offense around him, and he's done some really good things. Won an MVP. I still think he has some things to prove, much like Kyler Murray, winning in the postseason. I can't even put him on the threshold of the best quarterbacks in the game. The best. You're asking Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
That's the money you're talking about.
Josh Allen, even, who's now won in the postseason and gave himself a chance to get to a Super Bowl. Defense couldn't slam the door shut.
That's the money, yeah.
Justin Herbert's first couple of years numbers are better, even though he hasn't done anything in the postseason. So, Russell Wilson, there's a lot better quarterbacks right now that I would take before Lamar Jackson. That's not saying I wouldn't invest in Lamar Jackson. So I disagree with RG3 to be like, all right, well, yeah, he's $53 million. He's the best one. He should be the highest paid guy. I'm not sure I agree he should be the highest paid guy. Patrick Mahomes should be probably the highest paid guy because investment matches already your resume and who you are. He's the best quarterback with more time left to play in the NFL right now. I don't even think Josh Allen I would put up higher than him or Herbert. So, the best guy right now in the league is Patrick Mahomes. Now, it's like real estate. 3 months later, you do a deal, the price just went up.
This is what I'm
asking. That, right?
Yes.
But I just don't see, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Lamar Jackson should be the highest paid guy and he should break the bank and set new records. I think he should get paid. And there have been other guys that have gotten paid without breaking the bank. Derek Carr just got paid $40 million a year, but he didn't necessarily set records in doing so.
So I'm going to say a few names, and the money they're making annually, you tell me if you'd pay more than that for Lamar Jackson. All right, we'll start at Russell Wilson, $35 million a year.
Yes, because of age.
Yes. Okay, great. So we can move up that list a little bit. How about Matt Stafford at $40 a year? More than 40 a year to you?
Well, yeah, because it's the going rate. I would still take Matt Stafford over the next 3 years than I would.
Not what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm asking if you'd pay Lamar more than you're paying Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I'd
right
pay
now.
him. I'd be okay doing that.
You just mentioned Derek Carr, $40.5 million.
Yeah,
it's over
that's fine.
3 years. You're good going over that. You mentioned Josh Allen earlier. Josh Allen's sitting on $43 million, 6-year
Yeah,
contract.
see, I think he's a nice. I think somewhere between that 40 and 43 is where it stops for me.
So you said no. Mahomes is your guy. Deshaun Watson's making 46 now. You probably don't believe Deshaun should make the 46.
I don't. That's bad money.
But it is what it is. So are you paying Lamar Jackson? Should you be paying Lamar Jackson more than you're paying Deshaun Watson? Not Will Brent, give him $47 million. But should you pay Lamar Jackson more than Deshaun Watson?
No.
Okay. Should you pay Lamar Jackson more than Kyler Murray?
Yes.
That probably says more about how you feel about Murray than anything else. Aaron Rodgers was mentioned early on, $50.3 million. Shouldn't pay him more.
Two-time MVP. No, you shouldn't pay more.
Even though he's in his 30s
Doesn't matter
now.
right now.
Doesn't matter.
38, and Brady's proved that you can get 4 more years. I'll take 4 more years of Aaron Rodgers than 7 more years of Lamar Jackson right now if I was a team.
I would sign Lamar Jackson to a 5, not a 10-year deal, a 5-year deal, because he relies so much on his legs if I was making these calls and it was up to me and not Lamar Jackson. But I would give him Kyler Murray money. I would give him above 45. I don't know if I'm hitting 50 unless he's making me, but I'd be happy if it landed between 45 and 50.
Well, the interesting thing is that's where they're going to probably have to go because Kyler Murray's done nothing relative to Lamar Jackson, and they still gave him that amount of money.
Yeah, you want to talk about setting a market. There it is.
He really, they reset that thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I would agree. I think you got to go there. But honestly, where he fits in that is somewhere between Derek Carr and Josh Allen. And there's a $40 to $43 million window. And that's where, if I was the organization, I'd like to pay about a $42 million contract right below Josh Allen. But I would say Arizona messed that up a little bit.
Yeah,
They're probably going to have to go give him $48 million a year as they just keep resetting the market.
Well, I mean, Joe Burrow's contract is going to be coming up here in another year or two if they do the extension with him. Right now, he's making $9 million. So, he'll be up in the 40s.
Yeah.
The question is what part of the 40s?
Yeah, good point. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I like Lamar. I just think I really was fascinated more with his Twitter comments. I'm like, that's an interesting time of year to go on Twitter, which means it's probably bothering him a little bit because we're getting closer to the season.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, man, I can't believe this thing's not done, and I'm going to go play here, and I better not get hurt because that's a scary thing, I would think, for an athlete. Like, you don't want to think about injury. You don't play scared. But when you got $250 million, $300 million in the balance and you don't have that signed yet, it's not in your bank, none of that's in your bank, that's a little risky. That's just common sense.
You heard RG3 talk about $500 million on the line right there. And the guy relies on his legs, and those guys get injured and are at risk more than just a regular pocket passer. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm wanting to get it done. But obviously, you don't want to do it during the season. You want to be able to focus. I think he's looking at this thing. He's getting painted as a bad guy by some fans, and he's like, hey, pump the brakes, guys. They didn't even offer that money at me.
Yeah, you're right. I want to bring. Didn't you bring up in this article, by the way, that we were breaking down a little, that they thought the wide receiver market was defined by the Jags?
So the one of the questions they asked was, what do you make of the wide receiver market exploding this offseason? And one of the most popular sentiments was that Christian Kirk and the Jags started that resetting of the market. Kirk got $72 million. What are you going to give a guy like Jamar Chase? Now, what they're not talking about is what that contract actually looks like for Christian Kirk. It's not as bulbous as they're making it sound. It's not like the guy got $30 million a year. But to their point, it was the first domino to fall in that wide receiver market, and it was a big number when we heard it.
You know what's interesting? Why I don't feel like the Jags reset the market? Because all those other guys that signed after that were like
20, 25.
27, 28. I mean, whatever Devontae's making. Those are the guys to me that can you really reset the market if you're making $17 million a year? I mean, there are guys, by the way, like Michael Thomas was making $20 million a year to begin with.
Yeah.
Now he had earned it. He had caught like 120 balls in a year and stuff like that. Kirk hadn't done that yet. So they were kind of paying, like what people think is they're overpaying Kirk for what they think he can be.
That's where they're talking about that market.
So he's not in that level of receiver. But to me, it's still guys like Devontae Adams who, whatever they ripped the contract up for, and now what they're paying. I think our best argument here is the DK Metcalf stuff. Like Metcalf and Kirk, we see their numbers. We know their numbers. And for them to be separated by some $7 million a year in salary, I think it's worth asking that the Jags get a bargain.
Yeah, Devontae was $28 million annually.
Yeah, so, I mean, he reset the market.
Yeah, well, Tyreek Hill at $30 million with the
Okay,
Dolphins.
or he reset the market. One of those two guys, but they're the top receivers. Like, I just don't think you get – I don't really think Kirk impacted those deals as much as people think. He was not even in their stratosphere.
I mean, all of these guys who just redid their deals, you're right, are at 25 or higher, essentially, with the exception of DK at 24. Stephon Diggs redid his deal at 24, and then Debo finally got his deal at 23.85. But, like, if they're giving Christian Kirk that money for what he did and then prorating that out to what these guys are doing, then the market reset kind of holds there. I don't know. Devontae Adams at $30 million, Tyreek Hill at $30 million, DeAndre Hopkins with that Cardinals deal at 27.25, Cooper Kupp 26.5, A.J. Brown at 25. Like, I'm okay with those numbers based on what you got today. Like, they didn't overpay for those guys based on what everyone else is getting. Those are important receivers for your team.
I just got asked this: who's the guy in the middle of the Chelsea jersey? Is he asleep? I was like, no, he's watching the Jags presser.
You think
he's cutting sound? It's Doug Peterson saying. What's Trent Baalke saying?
He's really just watching The Bachelor. He just told us he was watching the press conference.
That could be. Clay Harbor is on like a Skype call with him. FaceTime.
Breaking it down. Instead of the X's and O's, breaking down the roses.
We'll be back on ESPN 690. What are Peterson and Baalke saying today at their news conference? Anything alarming coming out of there? We'll let you know. And a reset, if you're just jumping in, where the Jags are at roster-wise. 3 running backs, 2 kickers. Is that interesting enough? We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A mix of sun and clouds today. Keep that umbrella nearby with more scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Highs in the upper 80s, dropping to 70 to 75 tonight, and partly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Your Wednesday high near 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jags.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
People often ask me, how much money do I have to pay you up front to be my personal lawyer? The answer is nothing. It's free unless we win. What about a slip and fall or car crash case? Free unless we win.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that really wants to help. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Who's monitoring your security system? Do you even know? What if I told you you were being monitored in someone's house? Can you imagine someone working from home with all your information? Your family's security is dependent on how fast a worker responds to your alarm from their house. Unbelievable, right? Think again, because the largest company in America is doing just that. And pay attention to their ads. They now have teamed up with big tech. There goes your information and privacy. Plus, you're possibly being monitored from someone's home. Now you know why I have a Safe Touch home security system. The Safe Touch Monitoring Center is right here and fully staffed at their disaster-resistant monitoring station. Have you driven by the other guy's monitoring center? Don't bother. It's empty. Call now and find out what makes the Safe Touch 5-star security and surveillance system so outstanding, and right now get free installation. Don't just assume your family is safe. Know they are safe with Safe Touch Security. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com. State license EF233.
I was just talking to my buddy Pat, who paints for a living, the other day, and he was complaining about his shoulders and knees and, well, joint pain. And if you have joint pain, living and working is not fun. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. I want you to call QC Kinetics now if you've got joint pain. You've put it off long enough, and it's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees and back and shoulders and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they are living life to the fullest, pain-free. Don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today, Stop putting it off. Call now for a free consultation, 904-274-5522. QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
Time is running out to get the most money for your used car. Do you have an extra car in the garage or one that needs repairs? Come to the live appraisal event by ACV Auctions on September 9th and 10th to find out how much your vehicle is really worth. Get an inspection, then watch it go live on a nationwide auction and watch the bids come in real time. You can sell it on the spot or just find out what it's worth. It's that easy, and it's free. Proudly hosted by the Tom Bush family of dealerships, 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
Be confident you're in control of your banking with free digital tools, fewer fees, and a team that's ready to help. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
If you've been involved in a slip and fall accident and are not sure what to do, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
For survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties, Hubbard House provides free, confidential emergency shelter and services. Call our 24-hour hotline at 904-354-3114.
The Labor Day event from Dell Technologies is here. End the summer strong by starting up a new season of productivity. Your business upgrade begins with up to 48% off top-rated laptops, like Vostro, taking performance to the next level with 12th Gen Intel Core processors. It's time to push your growing business even further. What's next for you? Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with the ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Well, again, it's a position we feel good about. We feel good about the health of both Travis and James. Feel real good about the development of Snoop. He knows. We had a good meeting this morning. He knows exactly what he needs to do. So feel good, but again, it's a position that we're going to continue to look at, monitor, and add to if necessary.
That is Jaguars GM Trent Baalke on the running back position, which is, I will say it again, I think as boom or bust as you can get on this roster. I mean, it has a chance to be electric. ETN and James doing what he's done, and don't even, I mean, you're not even worried about Snoop as much. I mean, if you can fill in a little bit here or there.
You're not really going to see him.
And then you might be able to pick up a decent guy on the waivers after some of the folks that have been cut today. So you might find a fourth down back that you feel pretty good about, too, given I think they would get a veteran player, somebody that's had a little experience. That'd be my guess. But also, you have two guys coming off injury that you have no idea what to expect.
You really don't.
I mean, that's a massive deal now, because one thing I don't think has been talked about as much for the Jags is this preseason is there a concern in the power run game. And a lot of that's James. He's just not back to full health, so we haven't seen it. And that's your guy. That's your power run game guy.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's great. ETN can run between the tackles, but he's still not your power guy. It's not how we view him.
And by the way,
I think it's worthy of concern.
I've heard you say that a few times now, and I can appreciate you have faith in the guy, but we still haven't seen him do it in the NFL.
No, you're talking about ETN.
Yeah.
But I just don't even look at ETN as that, because I see him doing so many other things, and I think explosive, right? I mean, my mind goes to ETN. Boom, look at him go out of the gate.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about James Robinson's running style.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
tackles,
picking up 4 yards, keeping you ahead of the chains, all those like cliches coaches like on schedule, and then once in a while, popping one for 12, 15, 22, and not running away from everybody. But you know what? That's worked okay. Like, it's been okay. You like to see the guy be able to run away from people, too. Like, Fournette had a little bit of that ability, right? He could run and be physical, and then, boom, when he popped it, it would be tough to catch him.
James Robinson's done just fine.
He's done just fine. But I do believe, like, if I have one concern on this team right now, because I don't know what they're going to get, I don't even know week 1 if James Robinson's going to play. So where's their power run game? Because if there's one thing this team has actually done well at in their, list of failures over the last 15 years is kind of run the ball and run the ball with some power.
Sure. And they run with purpose, yeah.
I'm not sure they have that. Like, even the offensive line, are you bullish on them being able to push people around in the run game? I don't know. Like, you might not have to worry about them pass protecting as much because Trevor can run away from stuff,
Also, if they're throwing it short and across the middle of the field, you don't really expect him to be in the pocket too long. You just kind of want him to have more than a second and a half back there before he's got to climb that ladder into the offensive line. But they also don't seem like they're building the roster to care about that power run game either.
Well, that's fair. I mean, you can't be good at everything. And I think that's, if you want to be dynamic and fast and spread the ball out and do all those things, then maybe it's hard to be great in the power run game too. Like, you were bringing up Sony Michel in, what was it, with the Rams, right? The Rams were doing so many different things. Like, how many times would they just, boom, hand
Not many. You got 200 carries.
They would do it different ways, right? And so there was a different way to attack it. Now, they did it with like 3 different backs. The Rams have done it over the last couple of years. And so they did it by committee and found a way to probably be physical when they need to, but I don't think of their offense be like, wow, they got a physical back. Like, you think of Cleveland's offense physical. You think of Jags over the years. Even Fred Taylor was explosive, but Maurice Jones-Drew and again, Leonard Fournette, and recently James Robinson. Like, there's history over the last 15 years of, even when the Jags weren't good, that they could go get 4 yards now.
Yeah.
And on 3rd and 2, they could go get a couple of yards and keep the chains moving. Not every year, but a lot of years they were able to do that.
And by the way, to your point about the Rams earlier, when they need to and it's 1st and goal, they hand that rock to Henderson and he's in there, no problem. So, I mean, all these teams that do work around the pass, they still have that power option. So Robinson certainly needed. The question is, when will we get to see it?
Yeah, and so, again, you look at this roster, and I think you can add to the receiving room, right? Tim Jones done a great job, but I'm not going to sit here and raise the pom-poms that Tim Jones is going to make you win an extra game. Well, he's a 5th wide receiver, most likely. That's not his job. Like, there's nothing really to worry about there. They're just going to add depth. The offensive line, I like what they have. I like some of their backups. I don't know if I like all 9 of their guys, but I like some of it. And you like the quarterback situation, of course. And you like the tight end room. Tight end room was easy. Like, that's simple. Up front, we like the levels of the defense. Is there a lot to be concerned about on defense? Not really. Like, you kind of like it. Sure, safety, depth, what happens after that. But, every team, when you start to lose people, you got to wonder what they have. I mean, the Jags have a lot of things to like, a lot of things you can buy into, which is crazy. It is. It's kind of crazy.
Because they won 4 games in the last 2 years.
Well, you just think they would have more holes that you really didn't like.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they do. Like, you like their linebackers. They're young with Foye, so they're unproven, but you love what they could be.
Sure.
I mean, you love Trayvon Walker, what he could be.
They put together some talented guys over there.
I mean, they have every level, every position that starts. Like, their 22 is something you can buy into. Like, you feel pretty good about it. Nobody likes their offensive line, so I'm sure you'll complain about that along the way, but I think their 22 is something you really kind of like, which has us nitpicking like the kicker the most the last month, and rightfully so.
I was going to say, it's not the only thing we're nitpicking
What's
about.
crazy about the Jags is once you get past their 22, if you go to like 28, you start to raise an eyebrow, or maybe it's 30. It's like, okay, well, once we get to 28, it's
a little
sharp,
shaky. Yeah.
I mean, you feel good maybe about Walker Little as a backup, right? Tyler Shatley as a backup on offense. And then on defense, like, you like Arden Key and Smoot. But then after that, like, does everything start to really dive down?
Where are you seeing the least depth on this roster? Is it the secondary?
I think we see in the secondary, yeah. But their front line, it makes you feel pretty good. Like, especially at corner. I think there's question marks about both Cisco and Rayshon Jenkins if we're being real. But again, I think there's stuff you can buy into. Like, I'm bullish on Cisco, man.
You love yourself Cisco.
I think can't wait to see what he does this year.
He's part of your trinity. You got Dan Arnold, you got Cisco, and I'm missing one.
Who is it?
Maybe it's Gotsis with the tattoo.
No, even Gotsis is like that's like probably one of your last linemen on the roster. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like he's not bad to be a last guy on the roster.
His defense is going to shock some people this year. I'm telling you, man.
So I go back to the running back room where, again, you could be bullish on those two guys. Like, there's plenty of reason to. And I'm sunshine and rainbow, so I probably am. But I can't, like, unequivocally say, hey, I think, like, that's going to happen because they're both coming off significant injuries. And we really haven't even seen James Robinson. Like, we don't know if he's got it.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
It's a serious injury. He's coming back very quickly from it.
So that's, I think that's the big story in the running back room and why they might need to go add another player. They might need to figure that out sooner than later. And Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson talked a little bit about that. Mekhi Sargent, the latest casualty for the Jags roster. They choose to keep two kickers instead. So they are down to 53 now. And now the jockeying begins. Like, who are they going to put a waiver claim in on? And then who's gone? Because once you do that, somebody's got to go. And they're going to be awarded whoever they want. They sit number one. And by the way, you don't go like this isn't like a fantasy football draft. Like, hey, you pick the waiver claim and then the next 31 teams do it and then you snake back to number one. No, that's not how this works. The Jags could put in 5 claims today if they want. And they're going to have first dibs on them all.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever the heck they want to do. It's just a matter of who are they also going to get rid of.
Yeah.
See, it's a lot trickier than people think. That is not an I could go out and get 5 guys and be intrigued by them.
But who are you moving out?
But who you're moving out is a fair question. I mean, they just, okay, 1 kicker, easy.
Okay.
All right. Then, like, I think, like, Will Richardson could be in jeopardy. I still think he is.
Yeah, you were saying that yesterday.
And then, I don't know. After that, I mean, do you start losing a guy like Dixon or Josh Thompson? Are you willing to go there? Or Jameer Jones? Is that what you're doing? So, like I said, it gets a lot harder. You're probably not willing to part with some of these guys unless you really feel like you're hitting a home run on the waiver wire. And the Jags have to be ready to make that move, which I think is enticing for us. We're like, wow, that's cool. They got the waiver wire. They got the number one. But are they really going to use it as much as you think they might or should? And you got to think about that other element of it, is my point. Trent Baalke got absolutely crushed around here.
Crushed. They made a whole icon about it with the clown thing on Twitter. It was ridiculous.
I mean, it was the whole thing for 6 weeks was really Trent Baalke driven. And why do I feel like if you asked the fan base, and maybe we should,
okay,
that people would be approval rating pretty high on Baalke in this roster? Which, by the way, if your approval rating's pretty high in the roster, then you've got to be high on Baalke.
Yeah.
He's the one that has helped put it together, and his name is on this one even more than it was last year.
For sure.
So, are we a Baalke believer?
I think a lot of people are becoming that. Are they willing to forget about last year? Probably not. But I think like the players were able to do earlier in camp, there's a whole lot you can put on Urban's shoulders right now. Now, once you hit the field this season with your guys, you're going to have to start making excuses for everything that's not going well, and it's got nothing to do with Urban. But right now, you can still kind of lean on him a little bit.
That is fascinating.
About Baalke.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it. If this roster turns out to be pretty good and they win games, and again, I'm not saying they go
to the tune of what?
7 games.
Okay.
If this, and by the way, if you win 7 games, which I think is just monumental to win 7, I really do. I think there's a huge difference between 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
But if you win 7 and you're going to like a lot of stuff on the roster, that means a lot of young guys probably played well. The Trayvons, the Devin Lloyds, obviously Trevor, right? The ETNs.
Your free agents as
the
well.
Christian Kirks, these guys that it's a remade roster.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways over the last 2 years, especially. And so, I mean, we're looking at a 30 for 30.
You think so? This is going to be one of the biggest comebacks for a GM of all time.
I mean, yeah, I will nonstop talk about January to December if they win 7 games.
The whole
because
fan base,
January through December on Trent Baalke would be epic.
the whole fan base was against this guy.
Oh, never seen anything like it. It's the most toxic thing I've seen in Jacksonville. I mean, I guess I've never stood on the shipyards, but it would be unbelievable. What a comeback.
Balking at Baalke premieres Sunday on the CW, according to Glenn Appleman.
I'll be on CBS 47 and Fox 30, by the way.
No, my bad.
Thank you. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Eshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When you look at a schedule, it reveals more than even the schedule what you really think about that team. Bad teams, their schedules always look brutal because they're no good, so you don't think they're going to win many games. Good teams, you look at the schedule, oh, it's not so bad because they're favored in a lot of those games. I guess I would also take the under on the Jets, but just. Like, I think 5.5 games is right. I'll take the under.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Hi, I'm Mike Combs, professional contractor and TV host. I love helping people, but when it came to improving the water in my own home, I needed help and turned to the water experts at Connecticut to make it right. My water was causing visible problems throughout my home, and it got me thinking about the problems I couldn't see. Protecting my water-using appliances and pipes, preventing stains and hardness buildup, and having clean, great-tasting drinking water are all important to me. But choosing the right water treatment equipment can be tricky. That's where Connecticut comes in. A Connecticut water expert will test your water for free and recommend the system that fits your needs and budget. Improve the quality of your water and your life with the Connecticut water treatment system. I'm so glad I did.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com for your free assessment. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
If you've been thinking about a new Toyota, then stop thinking and start buying during the national sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. And check this out. Arlington's got 500 new Toyotas available, and that makes now the perfect time to slip into a new ride. Plus, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and a lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. So stop thinking and start buying. Even better, start your engine. It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
We're ready to deal. Best Bet St. Augustine is now open. Experience the best in poker, simulcast wagering, and fun card games for all levels at Best Bet St. Augustine. Best Bet's newest card room features 49 gaming tables, a state-of-the-art sports bar, delicious wings, a full-service bar, and freshly made sushi. Open from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Friday, and 24 hours on the weekends. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311. For promotions, go to bestbetjacks.com.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan. Which is a team now, in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time.
And at the Home Depot, you time starts with you saving. Saving space with an HDX 27-gallon Tough Tote for only $13.98. Saving time with a free and fast-charging 18-volt battery when you buy select Milwaukee Power Toolkits. And saving you a trip with free delivery on over 1 million items. Do Labor Day your way with savings right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I got Park Hill and West Valley covered on Tuesday.
At Marita's pool service, the current staffing plan doesn't hold water.
3 more neighborhood pools on the same day.
She needs more pool technicians to dive into work head first.
That's awesome, but now we're shorthanded.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
You know what? He took advantage of his opportunities, and you know, young players. That's kind of been my message since I got here. You know, everybody gets an opportunity, and the ones that grasp it, you know, get chances in this league. And he did a nice job on special teams for us, and he was a young receiver who's really sort of grasped, you know, his opportunity to play, and showed us even the other day some of the plays he made in that Atlanta game just stood out to us. And you know, that fifth, and if we add, you know, another guy later, if it's a sixth guy, whatever, those got to be those core teams player, and he's one of those guys.
There you go. That is Doug Peterson on Tim Jones. Tim Jones. How many 83 jerseys are being bought these days?
Maybe a few.
Good for Tim Jones. That's a cool story, man. There's no doubt about it. And I bet from Doug Peterson's point of view, he loves that stuff. Doug Peterson's a guy who got cut, waived 6 different times.
Yeah.
And so I think these guys really appreciate players like Tim Jones. Man.
How could
they
you
root for
not?
that. Yeah.
A guy who's hungry and works for it, fights, scratches, and claws above all odds, underdog story. You got to love it.
And then delivers.
Yeah.
Right? Because, listen, I think there are a lot of guys that work their butt off and, you know, working hard. Everybody thinks they do anyway. But there are a lot of guys that are dedicated to it, but for some reason just didn't work for them. I mean, look at Austin. The Kevin Austin kid, I mean, he drops like 2 balls that are right in his hands over the last couple of weeks.
Game
I
over.
mean, those are glaring to me. Yeah. And he might have a great skill set, and there might be, but you can't bring a guy on the team who just dropped like 2 balls right in his hands.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to make every play. And Tim Jones seemingly made like every play, which was cool. Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter here on a Tuesday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. See Serena Williams last night?
Yeah, how great is that, huh? Who saw that coming?
I don't know who retired, Gayle King or Serena Williams.
She has a hard road in front of her.
Serena Williams last night was kind of cool. It was an interesting thing, right? I mean, they have all this celebration for Serena, as they should.
Sure.
Then she wins the match.
Straight sets.
And then they do like an encore
they brought it back out.
ceremony after.
Yeah. Encore
To make
celebration
sure
of the celebration.
Yeah, because it's like kind of weird, but at the same time, like you get it.
Yeah.
Because that might have been her only match. So if you're going to plan to have people there,
yeah,
you got to do it.
And if you're going to have your Super Bowl confetti moment and you might not get it in the finals at the tournament, then yeah, why not yesterday?
I don't know, because it's tennis, if we fully appreciate Serena Williams for her greatness.
I mean, that
like
resume,
we might other athletes.
That resume is thick. I was actually thinking about this when the first announcements came out of that Vogue article. How do we lay these accolades next to sports that we talk about every day? Because some of these records she holds, some of the dominant plays she had, might she be one of the most dominant athletes of any sport of our time?
She is. I think hands down. Like, I think she did an interview somewhere along the way where somebody said, like, you know, one of the greatest female athletes, and she corrected, she's like, athletes, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she's right. What I think is wild about the whole Serena Williams story is before Serena was Venus, and she was great. Like, there is some greatness about Venus that now gets dwarfed.
Yeah,
Serena.
You don't even hear Venus talked about.
You don't. Like, people forget about it. And they tried to bring it up yesterday, like a lot in the broadcast. Like, hey, don't forget, Venus was a big part of this thing. And they did bring up an interesting point. Like, even growing up, they had those two to hit balls with each other.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's got to make you better if you're two of the best players in the world.
It's funny you mentioned this because, we mentioned the Manti Te'o documentary recently. In that series called Untold on Netflix is this Andy Roddick documentary.
Okay.
Where the dad, who's like this psycho tennis coach, moves in one of Andy Roddick's friends, and instead of friends, they just end up competing against each other for their whole childhood. Much, similar to what you're talking about Serena and Venus probably when they grew up.
Like, it's interesting, Casey's age group, like, Serena, she's 40 now. She had a baby. Like, she got out of sport for a little bit. Now she's come back. She certainly hasn't been, I think she won a major after, maybe even more than one, but she certainly hasn't been the dominant player that she was prior to, having a baby. And I don't know if, I wonder if the younger generation even appreciates Serena because they might have missed it a little bit.
I mean, not only did they miss it, but I feel like tennis was a bigger deal as recently as 5 years ago, much less 15, 20 years ago.
And it seemed like more of a bigger deal 10, 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
For sure. The other thing I thought about with Serena Williams, this came on the heels of Rory McIlroy. We didn't talk about much yesterday, but athletes are asked to do so much more than they used to, or are they?
On the field or off the field?
Well, more off. I mean, like, if you look at Rory right now, Rory is carrying the flag against LIV for the PGA Tour. Like, you can really get him, and, Tiger was a part of that thing, but he's the one playing now. He's the face of the tour.
Yeah.
Is Rory, and he wins the tour championship. And it was a week prior that he got everybody together and was part of the big meeting. And he's been heavy against LIV and vocal about it. And he's for the tour. He's a great ambassador. Like, those are big things. I mean, Rory right now is the most important figure in golf, in my opinion, especially if you're like a fan of the tour. Yeah. He's definitely the most important figure. And I just don't know if that's a big burden. I mean, did they ask Tiger Woods to do that? Not really. Tiger did it, but he didn't have to do it because there wasn't a rival league, or he could have started his own rival league if he wanted to. But you look at, and then I saw it in, like, kind of juxtapose that with Serena Williams, and all she did changed and has changed. And I mean, they were talking about putting Venus Williams and Serena Williams in evening matches and center stage and U.S. Open. I mean, they made that happen. Their popularity, their greatness. I mean, that's just scratching the surface from a fashion standpoint, from an African-American female great athlete, the impact she's had on little girls, I mean, all across the globe probably. And she's a champion for a lot of things and not afraid to say it. And I think about her from a vocal standpoint, what she might say. And also I think about Rory McIlroy and what he says, because I think he's super eloquent in what he does say. And I'm like, wow. I mean, those are two impactful athletes that I'm not sure we celebrate enough. And maybe more athletes have to do this. Like, Tom Brady, to me, hasn't had to do any of that. Has he? Like, what's Tom Brady? Tom Brady didn't have to put football on his back.
No, but only because he was surging as the sport was surging, right? Like, McGuire and Sosa essentially put baseball on their back with that home run derby. Now, granted, they had the help of steroids, but baseball needed them to do so. Tennis needed Serena and, to a degree, Venus and Roger Federer and those guys to do so. But, golf may need Rory to do so right now, especially with LIV chomping at the heels. But Tom Brady, I don't think the NFL needed Tom Brady to get that done.
That's the thing. Like, Brady, yeah, he was a big part of it, and he grew the popularity of it. And like Tiger, again, even a different animal. They asked Tiger to do a lot of the things that kind of Rory and Serena have now done in different ways. I'm not trying to liken the two, but like outside the sport. And, he got criticized because he didn't do enough of it in a lot of people's minds. But he changed the whole, era and generation of golf. I mean, he increased the popularity, but it's just still in a different vein. I look at LeBron, and I think I don't know if he's had to carry the freight alone, though, because there's so many stars in the NBA.
He's certainly closer than Tom Brady.
And Major League Baseball, I don't think there's a one player that's carrying the freight,
days,
you know?
No.
I mean, Shohei Ohtani is doing things that hasn't been done since Babe Ruth, but I don't know if
Not
he's
the
carrying
same.
the weight of anything.
It's also going to be hard for people in this country to relate to him because he's not from this country. If you look different, I think it does hurt in gaining those fans.
The one thing that's interesting there is Shohei Ohtani probably is carrying the weight of more than we know. We just don't understand it. Like back in his homeland, he's probably like a nightly news story headline.
And
where he's not here.
And the MLB probably expects him to carry that for his people.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fascinating. I just think that when sports intersects with societal things, and you look at Serena Williams and right now Rory to a different degree, I think in the last couple of days have been two pillars in some of that conversation. We'll be back football at 5 when we come back on ESPN 690.
Hey, boss. Here's the latest in the Crooks Are Us newsletter about the rise in Safe Touch security sales this summer.
Great. More Safe Touch houses. That's just what we need.
Huh. It's no wonder. Listen to this headline. Safe Touch provides peace of mind for when the kids come home from school.
Ah, never home alone. See, this is why I hate Safe Touch. They're like a big tattletale.
But imagine being a parent who can't be home all day. Just knowing Safe Touch security will notify you when your kid gets home safe and sound. That's gotta be big.
I don't like kids.
Never home alone and never away from home. That's why Safe Touch signs are popping up all over the place.
Yeah, which makes our job even harder because we gotta stick to the Crooks Are Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. I'm just numb to it by now.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatorsparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Make this the summer event. What fuels your summer driving? Is it the adventure of the open road? Maybe it's just the security of knowing you're in a safe and reliable vehicle. Get all of the above and more from Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. Our lenders are standing by to make you a new car loan today. There's still time left. Come into 9600 Atlantic Boulevard for a test drive to remember. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. Across from that Regency Square Mall.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me, I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Shocking is how 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan is describing quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo's return. Also called it a win-win situation for both sides. Garoppolo and the Niners agreed yesterday to a reworked one-year contract. The deal improved the Niners' backup situation for Trey Lance. Also extends their window to potentially trade Jimmy G before the November trade deadline. The contract has a no-trade clause giving him approval over any deal. NBA, the Knicks' path to an offseason trade to acquire Jazz star Donovan Mitchell has become more difficult, with the team finalizing a 4-year rookie extension with guard R.J. Barrett. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the teams could restart Mitchell talks before training camp. Two big hangups remain, though, in trade discussions, notes Woj.
Unprotected first-round picks, and Quentin Grimes is a player that Utah would have liked to have in the deal with R.J. Barrett. That was a player that New York has wanted to hold on to.
Baseball, the Astros placed ace and AL Cy Young favorite Justin Verlander on the injured list with an injured right calf.
You own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 pays your bills.
Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy. Essential Energy. Live fit.
Are you ready to go?
3, 2, 1.
Text the word sleep to the number 70123 before 15 past the hour. That's SLEEP.
Your next chance to win is tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. Get the complete rules now at ESPN690.com. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine Studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
It plays a huge role. And I think Coach and I have expressed that through the whole process, whether it was free agency or the draft. The backup players on this football team and this organization have to excel on special teams. And it's going to be a prerequisite as we move forward, every decision that we make.
Well, that's Trent Baalke, and by the way, the Jags, they're not like reinventing the wheel. That's the case for every team. The Jags make roster cuts. They're down at 53. Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter here on a Tuesday. And a couple of surprises on the 53 cuts. One, I would say both Israel Antwine and Jay Tufele. That surprised me. I didn't know that. They go light at the nose tackle spot. They have Devon Hamilton. And Doug Peterson's explanation for that is, from a personnel standpoint, you don't need that big body in the middle as much, and so they're going to try to get away with it for now. We'll see if that changes. And, you know, it's a numbers game with the roster. 2 kickers, 3 running backs. The 2 kickers, I don't understand why they continue to keep both, but they are. Even we tried to make sense of it about an hour ago. And there's some logic behind it, but still, I think you've got to believe the kicker will be the first one to go when they pick up somebody on the waiver wire.
Has to be.
I mean, how can you not? If you're the Jags right now, you have the number 1 claim on the waiver wire. You've got to be saying to yourself, okay, I think X player can make us more better than a kicker that we're keeping around for a week to cut him next Tuesday.
For sure.
So logic says there will be only 1 kicker, and James McCourt's going to be the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would think. What's interesting is who gets cut around the league. And, I mean, everybody's trying to get down to 53, which means you lose some people like first-round picks. Jags lost Jay Tufele. They cut him. Minnesota Vikings, 3 first-round picks. Or, I'm sorry, not 3 first-round. 3 out of their top 100 picks in the draft last year, all gone off the team. A guy like Alex Leatherwood, 17th overall pick last year with the Raiders.
Less than 2 years in the league. High draft pick.
17th overall. I mean, that's crazy.
That had to be like a no doubt about it. This wasn't going to work. Get out. Like, how do you let go of the 17th pick if it's not a complete disaster in that organization with him?
Yeah, I don't know. So if you go around, what I was going to do is Did anybody else catch your attention around the league?
I mean, some of the bigger names, but like again, some of these guys are either old or it's hard to find like a guy like Josh Gordon forever will have this like mystique around him because he was so talented for half a season and just was never able to put it back together, but he's out there. Duke Johnson, certainly respectable running back name. Philip Lindsay, Tevin Coleman, O.J. Howard, tight end.
Oh yeah, see that was a big name. All right, I want to do this seriously. All right, you keep. I don't know how big of a list you have.
Well, it was just basically the four running backs that I found notable: Duke Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Tevin Coleman, and Sony Michel, who we've talked about probably more than we should.
Okay, so Coleman, Michel, Lindsay. Who I did see another stat, by the way. Again, no fumbles in over 700 plus carries.
It's impressive.
Coleman, Michel, Lindsay, and who was the other one?
Duke Johnson.
Johnson,
who's old but can do a lot of things now. He can catch, he can run.
From a name, so O.J. Howard, huge name.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Jags had traded for O.J. Howard a year ago, we would have loved it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think people were calling for it, and the Bills just cut him.
They got a crowded. I guess they feel like they've got what they need in tight ends, and OJ's not going to play special teams for him.
I'm going to avoid like the offensive line guys because big name and offensive line, I'm not so sure. But there are more running backs, Marlon Mack, and
they're all over the place.
There are guys that you could get excited
Dime
about.
a dozen.
Anybody else that strikes you? Ferkser, Leatherwood, by the way, would make the offensive line list.
If you were saying them.
If David Sharp, by the way, former Providence Stallion.
What about KC's favorite eyeglass wearer, Tony Jefferson?
That's a good one. So linebacker, you got Jefferson. And
Denzel Mims at wide receiver. Put on quite the show the other day, second-round pick.
So did he actually get cut?
No, they're trying to trade him. But he's out there. You're right. He didn't get cut.
I was going to say because I think they were asking about him. Kellen Mond, QB. Mond and Rosen. Not that they're that good, but they're big names. They're talking about the all-name team here, okay?
Rosen may pull
Ian
off
Book.
a Fitzpatrick before this is all done, by the way. Rosen may end up with like 17 or 18 teams by the time he retires.
Let's see who else we got. Anybody else that strikes your fancy as from a name standpoint? I mean, obviously wide receiver wise, people around here like Tyler Johnson.
Yep.
And Preston Williams. So there's a couple other guys. Brett Kern, punter. I'm not going to get excited about him.
James O'Shaughnessy.
We have a good punter.
You wanna go through that?
So I guess that's about it. I mean, you got some other names on here, but from a like an wow standpoint, I'm not sure. Then you did have some trades today that guys are moving places. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was the big one.
That was the big
Jags
one,
obviously moved Laviska Shenault. And so not bad, but it's like, who would you claim? Like, doesn't O.J. Howard, like, to me, the number one guy on this list for me would be that I'd be interested in is like O.J. Howard.
And
but the Jags don't need that. Like, they're not going to go do that.
That was the position group that was settled from before camp.
It was like the easiest position. And it's kind of like they like what they got.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bumping O.J. I'm not bringing O.J. Howard in to bump out
Evan Ingram.
Dan Arnold.
That's your guy. You
Damn straight you're not bumping out Dan Arnold.
You can't do that.
I'll probably sign him up for some shows, and all of a sudden he'll get traded. And by the way, that's the way it's going right now as I try to sign up players for the shows.
You got some names now.
Yeah, we got some names.
We got some names.
The O.J. Howard, isn't that funny? Like, I mean, that is probably the one. You could get me a little excited about Sony Michel, too.
I mean, Tevin Coleman's a talented guy. He's getting up there in years, but we don't necessarily have it. I mean, you have a younger, probably more talented guy on the roster who does the same stuff in ETN.
I just love the fact O.J. Howard last year would have been like
huge
would have
news.
been like
Headlines.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'd be jacked up. Like we'd all be jacked up. Be like, no, that's good. That's going to really help.
You wonder if it says something about O.J. Howard though.
Well, what's the problem with him?
I mean, the Bucks didn't mind letting him shedding him, and now the Bills don't mind shedding him. Something's there.
So I don't know how much better the Jags are going to get off the waiver wire is really the moral of the story for me. You're going to add some depth. You might find some special teamers. Of course, we don't even know what that means. They'll know better than us. But, like, the Jags did lose special team ace in Rudy Ford.
Yeah.
Do they have to go replace that? Like, I think that's more significant than people will let on. Like, I don't really understand why they did that, quite frankly.
Well, especially
like,
when you hear Balky talking about how important that's going to be to all these rosters.
Yeah, do you like Daniel Thomas And Josh Thompson, that much more? Is Josh Thompson going to be a stud on special teams? Made a heck of a play down near the goal line a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I mean, again, we don't. Offensive line play and special teams play is kind of like you're guessing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what makes this great special teamer? They might see it different than we would. And you're not always making plays. You can still be very good on special teams, kind of a hidden thing. But I would say I know Rudy Ford has a reputation of being a great special teamer. So, and they cut him. And they cut him early.
Yep.
And so how good are you at special teams? And I will say this about the Jags, and I've said this for a long time. And this is what I started to say about the kicker. When your team is not that good, and right now they're just not that good. They've won 4 games over the last 2 years. So they're in that category. It's really a kick in the butt when you start playing poorly on special teams. Like, because you can be, I think you can be not great in like from a talent standpoint or an offense-defense standpoint, but still be effective on special teams. But if you really start blowing plays on special teams, missing kicks, having blocked punts, blocked field goals, giving up kick returns, you can't afford that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a part of the game. Like, you've got to be at least, like, neutral in. And instead, you might not have to be great in it, and it's helpful if you are great, because now you can maybe steal a game or two, but you better not be, like, below average in that phase, or it's going to cost you games, and you really don't want to do that on special teams.
You're putting your defense behind the ball, starting them out on the wrong side of the field all the time. I mean, how are you expected to compete with that?
There's just enough things that the Jags are already climbing up a hill about.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested. Listen, Tom Coughlin, when he got here, he really talked special teams. Urban Meyer, when he got here, special teams. I will say this. I haven't heard as much of that conversation from this regime. I really haven't.
It's got more important things to look at.
Well, and I'm not telling you that they don't think it's important.
Clearly they do.
Mean,
they were just talking
they
about
think
it.
it's important.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, under Urban and even Tom at times, you thought it was more important than finding a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that from these guys. So with that being said, I don't really know what to expect. And I know the situation at kicker has been so bad. So the way we look at it is like, okay, don't give up a punt return or a kick return, which means get the ball to the end zone on the kick return, on the kickoff. Don't get things blocked. Make your kicks. And we actually have a lot of faith in Logan Cook that he's going to get the job done.
Yeah.
So, like, that's it. You don't need, Jamal Agnew was a pleasant surprise last year. That'd be great. That's gravy. Return 1 or 2, awesome. Mm-hmm. Kick a 62-yarder to win a game, great. Just don't screw it up on special teams.
Yeah.
And I think that's a starting point. Like, that's where I would like to see the Jags special teams. Just, take the easy stuff. And if it's nothing great beyond that, that's fine. Just don't be a disaster. And I think that's beneficial to a team that's not very good. Or at least we don't know if they're good yet. And they haven't been very good. So that's why I think the kicker is so important here. You can't have opportunities to win football games and you roll out a kicker that you don't trust to kick a game winner from 44 yards out. Like, that's a bad thing.
It's not a good feeling for a fan either. Watching that game going, what are we doing?
It's an even worse feeling probably for the coach.
I'm sure.
Right? But you did all the work. It's winning is hard in the NFL. We know that. Jags have exemplified that. And you get in position where 44-yard field goal is a kick that a lot of people make.
A gimme
and
to a lot of guys.
You just don't even have the confidence that you're going to make it. Like, that's not a good thing. Listen, it's hard to say you're going to have the confidence to kick a game winner from 60. I mean, that's a hard kick for a lot of kickers around the NFL, everybody out not named Justin Tucker. But when you're at 45, 47, 44, like, those kicks this day and age, like, you want to know that you're going to go win that game with that kick and not lose it. And so I think those things really do add importance. I don't think they get talked about until they happen. But I think, like, from that special teams spectrum, I think it actually adds a lot of value.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important. Hey, a topic I didn't get to yesterday here on Football at 5, and that's because Laviska Shenault got traded.
That's right.
And all that started to happen. And I had mentioned this. Is there a team coming out of the preseason you didn't know much about or had a feeling about, and now you're like, oh, they're going to be better than I thought? Or maybe they're like, oh, man, they're not going to be as good as I thought.
Yes.
Player-wise, you could say, like, George Pickens seemed like he got a lot of attention.
It's funny you start on Pittsburgh.
Month.
That's where I want to start.
It might be where I want to start, too. It might be why I brought this conversation up. But But George Pickens got a lot of attention, right? There are probably some other players around the league that was like, wow, that was pretty good. I think the Jags defense, by the way, here is one that in the month of August got some accolades and got people's ears perked up.
Opened some eyes.
And was like, wait a minute now, keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
This could be pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they played on TV and, oh, well, that didn't matter because they didn't play that good. So I don't know if that helped them at all, the Canton, Ohio game. But I think people were talking about the Jags defense a little bit the month of August. So go ahead. You probably steal my thunder. But Pittsburgh, I think, one fits this category. This is where I came up with this conversation a little bit. And really, it doesn't have anything to do with George Pickens, probably.
Well, I was going the opposite way, not the good way, the
interesting.
bad way. I thought that offensive line, I've now seen highlights from 2 games. I mean, when they played against the Jags, it looked rough, and it hasn't looked any better. And, you know, you got those quarterbacks playing well over there, specifically Trubisky and Pickett. So you'd like to believe it's going to be okay. But I got to believe once the ones get in there against the ones, both those guys are going to spend a lot of times on the ground.
Well, see, I had a different thought on Pittsburgh.
All right.
Because I'm not sold on Trubisky. I also am not like, wow, Kenny Pickett. Holy cow, they got the next Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay.
They found the next solution. They've got Trevor Lawrence, or they've got Trey Lance, or they've got Justin Fields. Like, that's not how Kenny Pickett coming. It was like, well, he's the best of nobody. Like, there's not a lot of quarterbacks to
So
pick
you're
from.
a Mason Rudolph fan is what you're saying here.
Well, they actually like all 3 guys.
Yeah, they do.
And Trubisky, I don't think anybody likes him as much as Casey, but Pickett was incredible. Pickens, really good.
Yeah.
So now you start putting that together with already an MO that Pittsburgh has. They know how to win because Tomlin's going to win some football games, even if he's got 8 players out there.
Yeah. It really is amazing.
That I feel like I'm more bullish on Pittsburgh than I was. Like, I kind of discounted Pittsburgh. Now, I'll give you the flip side of that is a team that I wasn't very bullish on, and I think I'm kind of right, is the Patriots.
That you were bullish.
I wasn't. Anyway, I think more people were because they're the Patriots.
They're the Patriots.
But I think the Patriots come out of the preseason and give you more reason to be like, this might be a struggle this year.
You're not wrong. We went into the preseason, and my favorite team is in the AFC West East. I'm looking at the Patriots going, that's a second-place team, and now I'm looking at them going, they may be in the basement in that division.
Which would be something.
I mean, you talk about a fall from grace, and you'd like to believe that Belichick is immune to the record figuring in his employment. But if it's a disaster, I mean, if it's a disaster because of the setup that Bill Belichick has put out there, because he doesn't have a real offensive coordinator working with this young quarterback on this offense and trying to bring consistency to this team, then where does that blame fall? It's got to fall at his feet.
Yeah, and I think, listen, I haven't been this crazy. I'm not the kiss the ring guy when it comes to the Patriots. I think Mac Jones outperformed. I think he's still probably a little bit limited. I don't like their offensive situation they put around him. I think their roster's like just okay, not great. And so I'm not like they're going to win because they're the Patriots. Like, I feel better about saying they're going to win because they're the Steelers than I do about the Patriots because, quite frankly, I just think the Steelers roster's better. Like, they have more weapons on offense. They've got some good players on defense. They've got some, like, blue chip best player in the league, like T.J. Watt, who can ruin a game. I mean, even bringing Miles Jack, like, I like Miles as a player. I think he might fit there really well. That might be a good pickup and a landing spot for him where they just say, hey, go play.
I mean, is there a linebacker that's not a good fit for Pittsburgh?
Well, good point. So I think those are two great examples. And what's interesting about this is when we did the whole – see, everybody I just got asked like 3 more times today, what do you think about the Jags? What do you think about the Jags? And I continue to say the same thing. Like, if I was a politician, I would at least I'd have the same mantra, okay? You wouldn't hear me going back and forth.
Okay.
Because for the 6 months, I've been saying the same thing. I think the Jags are a lot better, a lot. But I think the league is so damn good. Have they closed the gap, and how much have they closed the gap? And does that equal wins, even if you do close the gap a little bit? So that's where my overarching thought on the Jags.
Yeah.
Well, when we go through the league, I think there are like 11 teams that think they can win the Super Bowl in the AFC. I think there are 3 teams that have no chance, the Jags, the Jets, and the Texans. And then I thought there were 2 teams that were like, yeah, they probably think they can get to the playoffs, but if they're really being honest with themselves, they're not Super Bowl caliber, and that's Pittsburgh and New England.
Right.
even though they've done it before and they always have that expectation.
They just don't have the roster.
They just don't
this year.
seem like they have the goods the other people do.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to think Pittsburgh actually might be a little bit better than I thought they were. And I think New England might actually be even closer to worse than I thought they were.
You should get in the bet bucket, Brent. I got Pittsburgh coming in last in the AFC North.
Wow. Yeah, I don't see that. That's a tough one. That'd be tough. I think
I know.
That's a great question.
Because the
What's
Browns.
more likely? Seriously. Casey, what's more likely? Pittsburgh finishing last, Patriots finishing last in their division?
Patriots.
Aaron?
I think it's Pittsburgh. I think the
You
Jets
still
are
think it's
still.
Pittsburgh?
I think the Jets are still bad enough that the Patriots could win 5 games and not finish last.
You know what's funny is I really believe like the Pittsburgh Steelers have it more in their DNA to not finish last than the actual Patriots do. Which
You might
most
be
people
right.
would argue with.
No,
me on
you might
that,
be
but-
right. I mean, both of those coaches have coached their way to winning season without the rosters.
Baltimore's good, potentially.
Cincy could be
Cincinnati,
great.
Cleveland could be really good.
You know,
But
you just don't
Cleveland-
know. Cleveland's up in the air.
You could make a case for both of them to finish last, and maybe Pittsburgh more likely. But I just think they're better than I thought they were.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in the mix, I think. That's
It'll
going to
be
be a good
interesting.
division.
Yeah,
AFC North could be the best division in football. I know everybody says the West. AFC North might be the best
It'll
division.
be a
in
tough
football.
one. You certainly get your mouth bloody in that division.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered heavy showers and storms into this evening. Keep an eye to the sky. Clearing skies overnight. Some fog toward morning as temperatures drop into the lower 70s. A mix of clouds and sun for Wednesday, and scattered showers and storms redevelop mainly in the afternoon with highs near 90. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
I was just talking to my buddy Pat, who paints for a living, the other day, and he was complaining about his shoulders and knees and, well, joint pain. And if you have joint pain, living and working is not fun. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. I want you to call QC Kinetics now if you've got joint pain. You've put it off long enough, and it's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees and back and shoulders and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they are living life to the fullest, pain-free. Don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call now for a free consultation, 904-274-5522. QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
I've been asked 1,000 times, did you plan on becoming the largest injury law firm in the world? And the answer is no. When I started, there were just 2 of us. Today, Morgan & Morgan has almost 800 lawyers alone. No injury firm in the country has anywhere close to that. We set out to be focused on our clients and to have a commitment to trying cases and winning. And when you have those results at trial, you're able to settle most of your cases quickly and fairly. Reputation matters. We grew like this because we worked hard and so many former clients referred family and friends. And what I believe is the main reason is we delivered for our clients a lot. Hard work and client satisfaction was our plan. It worked. Hope is not a plan. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Experience the excitement of our card games at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. Whether you're a first-timer or an experienced pro, Best Bet's card games offer winning times for all. Best Bet proudly offers easy-to-learn card games like one-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, DJ Wild Stud Poker, and more. And our knowledgeable, friendly staff are here to help you have the best time. You must be 18 years or older to play at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
All offers are with approved branded and not a conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Make this the summer event.
Drive the car, truck, or SUV you really want and save at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside. Get a new Ram truck or Jeep Gladiator and enjoy 0% financing. We've got the right vehicle in stock waiting for you to drive it home. Compass, Grand Cherokee, Charger, Challenger. Our selection can't be beat. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside. I-295 and Commonwealth Avenue, Westside.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that really wants to help. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Love and Light Wellness Spa, how can I help you today?
Hi there. I'd like to make an appointment for next week.
Excellent. Does Tuesday 9 a.m. work?
Ooh, mornings are when I go to Taco Bell to get my bacon breakfast quesadilla.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't like missing out on those fluffy eggs and crispy bacon covered in melty cheeses.
Oh, I understand. Let's see what I have in the afternoon.
Namaste.
Try the bacon breakfast quesadilla, only at Taco Bell. At limited participating U.S. Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
To be kind of cautious, I'm not going to divulge a lot of playtime with guys because we do have a meaningful game coming up, but he's going to be a big part of what we do and obviously the special teams factor, and he'll get his touches there. But, he's coming off, a significant injury and he's worked himself back to playing shape and playing time, and we purposely kept him out of the special team scenarios in training camp and these games and gave him a couple offensive reps. But excited where he is. He feels really good, and looking forward to working with him.
That is Doug Peterson. As Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke talked about the roster, I think these guys got to feel pretty good
about the work they did in the offseason or the team in general?
Yeah, just the whole thing. Like, nobody's going to sit there and say, yeah, we feel pretty crappy going into the year.
Could you imagine sitting up on stage?
Yeah, that would be so awesome, by the way. Like, I want somebody to say that. Be like, man.
It's very much my last day on the job kind of press conference.
Like, we thought, man, when this thing was coming together in March in free agency and April in the draft, and as we hit, OTAs, we really thought this thing was coming together. But now that we're done with August, holy bleep, this thing sucks.
Boy,
this
were we wrong.
I am going to have to coach my ass off.
Great. But how refreshing.
That would be great.
Saying what the fans are thinking at the time.
That would be the absolute best. He would go in the Hall of Fame for that quote.
It reminds me of, we used to have a guy on the radio down the hall at a station that no longer exists, and we were moving on from him, and they had told him, and they said, hey, instead of just leaving, we'll give you an extra bump in this, severance if you fake a big fight on the air on your way out to drum up some PR. And so I'm just imagining Trent Baalke being given his walking papers by Shad, and Shad's like, hey, before you leave, say a few of these things. Just blow up the rest of your career. But the guy, by the way, who we made do the fake fight, we didn't make him. The guy who agreed to do the fake fight on the air, he actually had to get a signed letter from our company telling other prospective employers that was fake. It was a bit because they weren't going to hire him. Otherwise.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Wow. So seriously, do you think, I would think they feel pretty good. Think about where this organization was. Again, we go back to early February. before Doug Peterson got hired.
Yeah.
That was 7 months ago. That was quick math. So 7 months ago, this organization was a mess. This organization had the Urban Meyer fiasco.
Yep.
This organization took 6 weeks to hire a coach, and some people thought it was Byron Leftwich, and other people thought it could have been done in a week, and it took 6, and we're on the way to getting Doug Peterson.
Yeah, nobody in your running back room.
This organization had ice. I've been here 15 years through a lot of losing stuff, and I've never seen anything so toxic as the whole Trent Baalke situation for like a 6-week span.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like it, and I'm not sure we'll see anything like it again. Now, 7 months later, the head coach comes in and says, listen, we have to heal. There's some healing that needs to go on after what happened last year. And we need to go acquire players. And by the way, they drafted a guy in April with the number 1 overall pick that was polarizing. The guy on set next to me almost collapsed that they picked Trayvon Walker. The league is a laughing stock at Baalke for giving as much money as he did to Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
The Jags are spending a wild amount of money, which is a risky business thing.
Oh, Lukin got a big deal.
So you go to all these things. I mean, come on, I could keep going, right? And now you sit here as we're on the verge of September and less than 2 weeks away from the regular season opener. And I think people are bullish on Peterson. I think they're not saying anything about Baalke, which, by the way, is like bullish compared to where they were in January.
So no bad news on Baalke is great news.
Absolutely it is.
Okay.
I mean, the clowns aren't out.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. I think the offense, you can talk yourself into some things. Like Christian Kirk, I think, has been amazing. I think he's fun to watch. I think this looks like it's going to be a heck of a signing. I think Zay Jones looks like a heck of a signing. I think Trevor, people still believe.
Yeah.
I think ETN has survived the camp, and he looks healthy. And there are other question marks, so let's not go over outside of that. I mean, I even like Evan Ingram, but people could say, hey, drops the ball too much. Maybe they're not as high. Then you go to the other side of the ball in the defense, and now you've got people around the league talking about the defense.
You got some studs out there.
Okay, wait a minute now. This defense might be something. Keep an eye on them. Not going to, like, pick them top 5 fantasy probably, but keep an eye down in Jacksonville on that defense. Just all those things. And still, I'm not here to tell you that people are picking them to go to the playoffs. But 7 months ago, they were talking about all these other things.
Yeah.
And now, I would think Doug Peterson has to feel really good about what he's accomplished over like a 6-month span since he took over.
Even in a broad way. 7 months ago, you're talking about all that's going wrong with this franchise. And today you're talking about all the things that are trending in the right direction. Even if they're not there at good yet. Even if you haven't seen it proven on the field, you're still talking about momentum going in the right direction. That's really, as a fan, all you can ask to see before you get out there.
Okay, so you guys check mark me here a little bit. Casey can too. I mean, is that a too positive look at it? Are you, Brent? Is there disaster around the corner? Like you're not looking at the whole. This is still a team that's won 4 games. This team has some leaky spots. Like, what are you telling me to watch out for? And don't get your hopes up.
Well, I think you're being realistic about what to expect from this team this year. You're talking about 7, 8 wins, maybe a ceiling of 9 wins. You don't see them.
And to be honest with you, I don't
digits.
even put their ceiling at 9. I think 9's almost impossible.
Okay.
I put their ceiling at 8. I think 6. I think 5's a lock. I think 6 is most likely, and I think the gap between 6 and 7 is way more than 1 game.
Okay.
But it feels monumental.
Well, so that sounds very realistic, right? So
does.
you're talking about all these positive things. I think there are reasons to be positive about this team. It doesn't necessarily mean you believe they're going to the Super Bowl. I think you're right in line with where fans should be. They should be excited and happy about the growth, the progression, the momentum forward, the fact that you likely will not be the laughingstock of the league this year. If everything goes according to plan, you don't have some kind of catastrophe on the team.
Casey, give me some failure. Give me some Debbie Downer. Give me some Chelsea in here. Come on now. What you got?
No, I think you're about right. Unfortunately.
At least that's on record. Here's where I'm going to go even a step further then. Like, I think Doug Peterson has done an unbelievable job. Like, we say Baalke's different. People view him. But go back to Peterson for a moment.
Okay.
I say this a couple of times when we're looking at schedule. I think we discount Peterson as a coach. I think I think that whole process took way too long. I could have named Doug Peterson the coach in the first week of the search. Like, it made a lot of sense.
Was Doug ready to commit at that point?
Well, I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter how we got here. We got here, but Peterson would have been he was a good choice in week 6 of the search. He was a good search in week 1 of the search. And he was the perfect guy for the organization. I've said this for a lot of reasons. One, he's a good guy. He's a genuine guy. He's carrying a Lombardi trophy, which comes with respect. And I think as a former player, he knew, he's like, whoa, I got to fix this thing. I got to get this right in the locker room. So there's a lot of things at the moment makes Doug really good. What Doug doesn't get enough credit for, in my opinion, at times is when you look at the Jags schedule, you'd be like, Doug's a better coach than that guy. Doug's a better coach than that guy. Like, his record says he's a better coach than that guy.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have an advantage coaching on Sundays with Doug. We didn't know that was possible. We hoped that was possible with a guy like Urban. Seriously.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times, quite frankly, even though Doug Marrone did a great job, you wouldn't have given the coaching edge to Doug.
Or Gus.
Or Gus.
It's been a while.
You have to go back to Jack Del Rio
and even
at times to find where you said, wow, I feel like we have the better coach, like most Sundays.
Yeah, it's not like Del Rio came into the job as some established coach either.
He had his ups and downs.
Too.
There were some years you'd be like, hey, Jack's going to go out coach this guy. And there were other ones like, whatever. So, but then on top of all that, I just think the healing that he talked about, the assembling of the team, the making the bulky situation maybe better internally and toward the external as quick as he did, because he embraced it publicly. I don't know how he felt from the jump. I have no idea still, like, did he really want to work with Bulky? Did he just like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot? Like, who knows? Who knows? But what he said in front of a microphone, if you go all the way back to his early, like, news conference and then a couple after that, and he'd be like, no, he would stop the press and stop the questions and be like, no, we made this decision. He would bring Bulky into it. He'd put him in his same universe. Like, we collectively did this. And the job that Peterson did early on to do that and include Bulky into, like, hey, he's on my team. Yeah. It's a package deal. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to do that, because in this league, a lot of times people point fingers, want to be separated just in case something goes wrong. And Peterson did a great job of saying, hey, we're doing this. We're rebuilding this. I'm on board with this. And I don't think you can understate how much he did that early on. You go back and listen to some news conferences. He really did that.
Co-signing helps, but to Peterson's advantage, we'll call it, if the Jags have a bad season, outside of Peterson being the reason, Peterson's not getting fired, but Bulky is.
Like, well, that's true.
Peterson doesn't need to say, hey, that was a Trent thing, this is a me thing, for the separation to happen. But your point shouldn't go ignored. I mean, the guy could have very easily put up the silo and been like, well, I don't know how the front office thing goes. I'm just here to coach. And instead, he really did. He brought him in. This is a team thing going on.
Yeah, and I think you're right, by the way. That's a fair point. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on Peterson this year.
Yeah.
That might be next year, but not this year.
Right.
I think he's here to fix a mess, and that's really where I'm getting at. I mean, the healing stuff. The locker room feels like it's in a better place. I mean, I've talked to more guys over the last few weeks, from the sidelines to the locker rooms now that we're allowed back in, and it feels like they're in a good place.
And granted, Urban was the reason for a lot of the healing that's required, but you never would have heard a guy like Urban talk about healing ever anyway.
No.
Like, this is the right.
And Doug doesn't have to talk about that anymore. It's like, okay, that's like they finally put that in the rear view.
Yeah.
Well, they did talk about it for a while, but now it feels like it's in the rear view. I think that's crystal clear. And so then you talk about they got smarter on the roster build, whether that's Bulky and Peterson together. You can tell, like, the IQ of this football team, from a football IQ standpoint, is, I think, light years ahead of last year. That's a hard thing to describe, but I think guys like Foye Alua can really help that.
Yeah.
I think a guy like Christian Kirk really helps that. And so they have leadership, they have football, like, they've assembled a pretty cool roster. You have to be very careful to just assemble good guys in the NFL.
Yeah, you need talent on there.
They've assembled a lot of good guys, but they've also assembled a lot of talent in there and what I would call football IQ. I don't care that Aluakin went to Yale. That's not what I'm talking about.
It's pretty impressive.
It is, but he's a smart. It doesn't mean just because you went to Yale
that you know
how to get people where they're supposed to be on the football field.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people book smart that don't know how to cross the street. So I think the fact that he's able to do both really is pretty cool. So I think you see that with this team. I think that's going to win more games. That's a hard thing for us on radio to tell people, be like, yeah, man, they're really smart. Like, that's great. Great, Brent. Like, you're driving in your car, like, what the hell does that mean? But trust me, this team last year was not football IQ savvy good. They weren't.
I'll tell you where else you may see a dramatic improvement compared to last year. Because if we're talking about this team winning 6 games, you're going to run off a few consecutive losses in a row this season. And when that happened with Urban at the helm, it got messy quickly.
He went to a bar.
Oh, it got messy quick. It got disastrous immediately. I think with Doug, you're going to have a guy here in control. And you may run off those consecutive losses, but you're going to have a guy who's not going to lose that locker room. He's not going to lose that team.
So the moral of the story for me, folks, is I don't know if we talk about enough how good Peterson has been for this franchise right now. And I think the 6 months has shown that, 6-7 months. I think they're in a good place. And now we see what happens. But I think, like, you could write this down on August 30th. I think the Jaguars are in a really good place, and I think they've come about as far as you could get in a 7-month, timetable, from disaster to feeling pretty good about going into the season, about this thing moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
and I think that's somewhat monumental. Now, listen, winning games would be monumental too. I understand that.
Very much so.
But I think they've set the table to at least be in a position to be successful. And that is important in any business, especially in the NFL. We'll be back on ESPN 690. Thanks for all the support on the Dream 18 cards. We sold out of Dream 18 cards, and we're raising more funds for local charities through the Dream 18. And coming up next, it's a Dream 18 golf tournament, September 19th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Registration is now open. We'd love you to be a part of it. Buy a foursome, or maybe just play on an individual basis. Maybe it's a tee sign. Get your company involved. Here's how you register. Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com. September 19th at the Golf Club of Southampton. Play on our Dream 18, Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com.
Back in the day, crime was someone stealing something off the patio. Today, it's violent crime. Oftentimes, the bad guys hack into cameras and doorbells, steal your privacy, and break into your house while you or your loved ones are home. Criminals today are much smarter and more violent. You simply cannot fight today's criminals with do-it-yourself alarms. That's why you need a Safe Touch security and surveillance system with its 5 layers of detection and protection. Number 1, the Safe Touch sign. Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Number 2, cameras using analytic technology that alerts the bad guys they are on camera while simultaneously alerting you, the homeowner. Number 3, entry alerts that notify Safe Touch before the bad guys even enter. Number 4, the exclusive Safe Touch two-way communicator that immediately alerts local emergency authorities. And number 5, the Safe Touch central monitoring center that is right here and not in some remote out-of-state location. Don't delay. Demand is at an all-time high. Call and receive professional installation at no charge. 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com, state license EF233.
When I moved to Jacksonville 15 years ago, I found Nimnik Buick GMC. That led to the Acadia, a couple of them, in fact, and now the GMC Sierra truck. I'm on my second one of those, all from Nimnik Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade. I know the product, the service, and I know the people, from Bill Nimnik to Jackie Lynch and James Jones. They've been my friends since 2008. Nimnik has been your friend in Jacksonville since 1941. NimnikBuickGMC.com. It's where I'll get my next truck, or maybe it'll be my kid's first vehicle, at Nimnik Buick GMC.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatersparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Not 100, not 200, not even 300. I'm talking 400 pre-owned on the lot, ready to test drive at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. All makes, all models, all waiting for you to test drive and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Your next great ride is waiting for you at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
At CDW, we get the importance of clear communication.
I was on a conference call, and I think my boss asked me to send her roasted beets in a can.
Talk to the experts at CDW. Using Poly headsets and cameras, they'll orchestrate a collaboration solution that lets you hear and see clearly on any device, any meeting platform.
Huh. Looks like she asked me to send her the report sheets when I can. You like beets?
No. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/poly.
Meet Boost, the fizzing amazing vitamin boost that turn your H2O into H2O, so you feel like
I like to boost it, my vitamins can boost it. I like to boost it, we like to boost it.
Vitamins, it's Boost, the fizzing amazing vitamin boost.
Find Boost, the vitamin boosts, at CVS or CVS.com and give yourself a boost with Boost.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
That's going to reset these Donovan Mitchell trade talks with New York. They could still put Barrett in a deal, but there's something called the poison pill provision, some salary cap gymnastics that makes it harder to structure a deal. It would have to look different than what they were discussing. But, you know, the Knicks and Jazz had gotten further down the line really in those last 48 hours than they had really over the first 5-6 weeks of those talks.
Don't know who that is, but that's about your Knicks. Give me the stat that you said earlier.
First of all, don't you call them my Knicks. It's like saying they're my Yankees. Gross.
You see the Yankees, man, suicide squeezing, or not suicide, but safety squeezing in the third inning yesterday.
Always great when you see that kind of stuff. The Knicks, listen to this stat. This is shocking. Any sports fan will find this shocking. It has been 23 years since the Knicks got past a rookie contract with a first-round pick they've made. 23 years.
I mean, that is amazing. That is unreal. What a stat.
Oh, my God. And that's a franchise, by the way, you know, hidden in the lights and glitz and glamour of the big city in New York is the fact that Chucky Dolan over there is one of the worst owners in all of sports. Not just of sports franchises. This guy owns the MSG brand, right?
Yeah.
So he owns
stuff,
but he also owns the MSG venue in New York, and he owns the one in LA that they built. This guy brought in the Eagles, the legendary, not the football team, the legendary classic rock band, the Eagles, the most commercially successful.
We're mixing your morning and afternoon gig right here, aren't we?
But this is infuriating when you hear this. So he brings in the Eagles to play MSG. It's 2 dates, one in LA, one in New York. This band is only playing like 5 U.S. dates, right? You would think opening for a band like the Eagles, you have like another super famous, huge band. I mean, you could put name any band and they would open for the Eagles. He puts himself and his friends as the opening act. JD and the Straight Shot, which is his band, his awful, awful band. He has himself open for the Eagles at both dates. I've dealt enough with these bands to know that if you said something like that to the artist management, they'd tell you to go walk.
Yeah.
They'd be like, get out of here. We'll find another venue. We're the Eagles.
You must have paid enough.
He had to have paid like $30 million or something to get on the stage with these guys and do his version of karaoke. Nauseating. Nauseating as a person.
Hey, Casey, that's the most fired up we've seen. We got to get talking Eagles and Journey a little bit more.
Guess so.
I can't stand Dolan. He's just the worst.
Let's see if we can get Casey to say more than 2 words in a sentence.
Good luck, man.
Cam Smith, how much are we going to hate that he's on LIV? How much is he going to impact LIV?
Don't
Casey?
say we. Don't say we. We don't hate it. You hate it.
I hate it.
So I don't hate it. I think it's fine. You do what you got to do. He's going to be the highest ranked player in the world to play on the LIV Tour when he goes up to Boston. So, no, I don't hate it. I understand what it is. But if you want to talk about the hatred for it, that would be kind of your specialty.
Yes. I don't hate Cam Smith. By the way, I thought Harold Varner, I tweeted out that was the way to handle it. Varner did a great job. Like, I actually almost find myself like maybe rooting for Varner now.
Oh, he turned you around a little bit.
Cam Smith said it was offer too good to turn down. That's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Cam doesn't bother me because he doesn't say. By the way, Cam Smith also was like, I think I saw somebody tweet today, he had told everybody, like in the media, like, whenever it happens, you'll hear it from me first. Well, that obviously didn't happen. He sat on it for a month.
Hear from him officially.
Yeah. So I think
I'll say this. We know somebody.
I don't know Cam Smith well enough to not like him. I just don't like the idea that he's in the backyard here and now going to join Greg Norman. I mean, but I get it with Cam Smith. He's an Aussie. Greg Norman's probably like his hero. Like, I understand it with Cam Smith, actually. And a lot of the Australian golfers.
You know, and we had heard for, it seems like months now, that Cam was going to make the move over to LIV. And I think we just thought he was waiting for the BMW and maybe another tournament or two. And then this big meeting happened. But we actually work with somebody whose wife works with the PGA. And not that they were taken by surprise, but he was telling me that they had to scrap a lot of the Cam stuff on Saturday or Sunday morning that was hanging out in their PGA clubhouse. So you would think they'd be a little more prepared for this news, seeing as how we've been hearing about it for months. But it seems like it caught some people by surprise. Yeah.
So, obviously Cam Smith goes, like, that's a huge get for LIV. But I was looking at the Invitational in Boston. And Casey will come in from a different, because he thinks even the first guy he wants to watch, and he likes hardcore golf. But I'm talking like casual fan who is going to catch your attention watching it in Boston this week if you turn it on. Abraham Answer, Richard Bland, Laurie Cantor, Paul Casey, Eugenio Chacarra, Bryson DeChambeau. Boom, right? Interesting.
That's a
right?
big name.
It's a name. Sergio Garcia. Kind of a name, but the game is nowhere near. It's kind of a weird one because
still a famous guy.
Okay. Taylor Gooch.
Famous guy?
Famous?
Yeah, somewhat. I know the name, and I'm not like the biggest golf fan.
I mean, Casey, he's unbelievable. He's a really good golfer, but I'm just saying, I didn't even know you'd know the name.
Sure.
Brendan Grace, Sam Horsfield, Charles Howell III, Dustin Johnson. Yes.
DJ's a name.
Matt Jones, some guy I can't pronounce. Martin Keimer, another guy I can't pronounce. Siwon Kim, Brooks Koepka. Boom, hit another one, right? Chase Koepka. That's his brother, by the way. But
I would imagine.
Chasen Kokrak, or Kokrak. Anirban Lahiri, who's a good player, by the way, but again, I don't think he registers with the casual. Mark Leishman, Graham McDowell. Know that name?
Nope.
He owns the restaurant out in Ponte Vedra.
Oh, cool.
Phil Mickelson. Yes, right? Jediah Morgan, Kevin Na, Joaquin Neiman. Now, Neiman won't, but Neiman's a big enough name to put on this list, I think, because he's got some impact. Sean Norris, Louis Oosthuizen, Wade Ormsby, Carlos Ortiz, Adrian, I don't know how to say his name, Pat Perez, Turk Pettit, James Plott. Piot? Is that Piot?
I don't know.
Okay. I figured you would. Ian Poulter, Patrick Reed, right? Reed's interesting. Charles Schwartzel, Cameron Smith, there he is. Henrik Stenson. Cameron looks different than Cam. They need to just call him Cam.
Yeah, Cam.
Henrik Stenson, Hudson Swafford, Cameron Tringali, Peter Uline, Harold Varner III, Scott Vincent, Lee Westwood, Wiesberger, and Matthew Wolf. So, I mean, I think, like, if you talk about, like, if you turn in the TV on a Sunday and the 9 of those names that I put like 9 fingers up, you could maybe wrestle with a couple more or even take a couple away because, quite frankly, like, Phil Mickelson's not going to be at the top of that leaderboard. Like, he sucks right now. Like, he's a big name, but he's not very good. And so I doubt he's at the top of that board. But let's just take 8 to 10 guys. It would be interesting to see, can they play at the top of LIV, like at the leaderboard? Because if you have like 5 of those guys playing at the top, then I think there'll be some appeal to get there. If they're mixed in with all these other names, then I'm just not sure the appeal to go find it, go watch it. To the masses I'm talking about, to the casual is really like, why are you flipping on the TV? Today you could have flipped on this past week you could have flipped on the TV to watch the 2 best players in the world. Or 2 of them.
I don't know ultimately, like I'm sure LIV Golf would love huge names, if for nothing else, just to stick it into PGA. But I don't know that that's their plan. If they're targeting Gen Z and millennials, the younger fan or casual fan, maybe they want to build the product and not just on good golfers, but on interesting golf, on interesting rules or new rules or a younger vibe. So you don't necessarily need the names at the top at that point.
Well,
like a 24-year-old isn't going to care if they're watching Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, but for Cam Smith and those to have the pull that they have, you need to still have good golf somewhere along.
Which
You've
is
got
why
to be
they
able to
grab those
lure me
guys,
into good golf, right? But I do think you're not wrong about some of the. I don't know if they've thought what this looks like in 3 years.
Yeah.
Really, a lot of this is let's
launch.
handicap the PGA Tour as much as we can quickly, and then we'll figure it out. Now they probably have some grand plan. But does that include a TV rights deal? Does that include eventually 72 holes? Is that, I don't know.
Bigger
like, who
golfers,
knows?
yeah.
And I'm sure they know more. But they've done a pretty good job of accumulating players, like big enough names, and now some games. Before it was big enough names, but not a lot of game.
Right.
And that's where Cam Smith really helps probably the most. Got number 2 ranked player in the world.
You got to wonder what the next wave is going to look like.
Yeah,
all you need is some
wave?
success over there.
Will there be another wave? We will see. That's going to do it here for a Tuesday edition. Jags down to a 53-man roster now. 3 running backs, 2 kickers. And they cut 4th-round pick from last year, Jay Tufeli. Those are some of the highlights. Tim Jones makes the roster. Casey Kurtz, Brian Middleton will talk about it next on Action Sports Jack. So T for Aaron Schachter. You catch him in the morning on 96.9 The Eagle. We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30. Have a good night.
On the south side, we got 6 poly panels, and please make sure they're flush.
Kwame is converting everyone on the block to solar power.
Please get a crew to wrap up 202 South Duane.
He needs more certified installers before the sun sets on his business boom.
Let's pick up the pace. We got a long day.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery does need to be replaced, we'll help you find the best battery for your vehicle and your budget. Don't wait until your battery is dead. Get it tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ready to swoop in the fall of 2022? The UNF Ospreys are ready with a lot of momentum on campus. New improvements at UNF Arena with basketball season right around the corner and tickets already on sale. The fall schedule underway in volleyball and men's and women's soccer, also men's and women's cross country. Get the latest news, schedules, results, and information on tickets for all things Ospreys at UNFOspreys.com. Join the Osprey Club, attend a game or a match. Be a part of the momentum at the University of North Florida at UNFOspreys.com.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
We're ready to deal. Best Bet St. Augustine is now open.
Experience the best in poker, simulcast wagering, and fun card games for all levels at Best Bet St. Augustine. Best Bet's newest card room features 49 gaming tables, a state-of-the-art sports bar, delicious wings, a full-service bar, and freshly made sushi. Open from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Friday, and 24 hours on the weekends. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311. For promotions, go to bestbetjacks.com.
Make this the summer event. There's still time left to take advantage of our summer savings event at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. If you need a really great pickup truck for work or play, we've got it. Choose a new Ram 1500 Bighorn and get the right one for you. Drive a new Charger or Challenger. Our lenders are standing by to make you a new car loan, perfect credit or not. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington, 9600 Atlantic Boulevard, across from that Regency Square Mall.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
If you've been involved in a car accident, call me, Mark Anajar, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is...
I'm Christine Lisi. A day after the 49ers and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo agreed on a restructured one-year contract, Coach Kyle Shanahan said although his return was shocking to the team, they thought it was a win-win for both sides. Jimmy G will back up Trey Lance. Lance has only started 2 NFL regular season games, but he should be the starter, believes former 49ers tight end Vernon Davis.
Now, the wise thing would be to go with Jimmy G because he has the experience and he's proven it, right? But then you have to ask yourself the question, why did we bring Trey in? Give him the opportunity, give him a chance to prove that he can go out and be the best quarterback in this league.
Vernon Davis on Canty and Carlin. In addition to the improving the backup QB situation, the restructured deal extends the Niners' window to potentially trade Garoppolo. He does have final approval over any deal per his no-trade clause. Bills quarterback Trey White, coming back from a torn ACL, placed on the PUP list, out at least the first 4 games of this season. Baseball, the Astros placed ace Justin Verlander on the injured list with a right calf injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
How we at the club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut, she Tuesday. Club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut, she Tuesday. Club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut, she Tuesday. Club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut, she Tuesday. Club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut, she Tuesday.
What happened to him, Brian Middleton? Where's he at?
He's in Canada somewhere. Canada.
Party next door.
There you go, Casey.
On a Tuesday. What happened to him?
You're going to have to see him about that one day.
All I'm asking is what happened to... Oh.
What? You're going to have to see him about this one day.
Yeah. You know, I worked on it.
Today.
It ain't today.
Where's he at?
It ain't today. I just want to know where Party Next Door is. Anyway, Action Sports Jax, Overtime, ESPN 690 on the aforementioned Tuesday. Brian Middleton, the broadcast on time, early even.
Don't blame me, man. Blame my change shift person.
I'm not blaming anybody. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So people are coming to work on time.
Early
even. What a moment. Brian Middleton, the broadcast on the ones and twos. Casey Kurtz with you for about 47 more minutes or so. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp baseball coming up at 6:50. They take on the Gwinnett Stripers in Georgia. We've been through this. It's not actually in Gwinnett. We don't got to go into all that conversation. All you need to know is it is coming up at 6:50. Me and Brian Middleton will keep you entertained until that point. We got For Your Defense coming up, a new segment Brian Middleton has brought to the program, in which I enjoy. Are You Smarter Than Casey Kurtz makes a return. Brian Middleton.
They took a week off. You had to give people a week off, and I appreciate that, Casey, that you gave the world a week off.
What can you tell me about my opponent?
I can tell you right now that all the things that you do,
okay,
he can probably do, right? From a work standpoint.
Okay.
Right? In a pinch.
Okay.
That's what I can tell you. I can tell you that your wit will be matched, all right?
Who's your money on?
But you won't be outmatched. You feel what I'm saying? You won't be outmatched.
Who's your money on winning?
Look, dog. Hey, listen, man. Listen. OT, baby.
It's a team effort.
Till it ends. You feel what I'm saying?
I got you. I hear you.
And if you lose too many more times, it's really gonna have to be a team effort. We're gonna have to start, getting these questions to.
You can just tell me the questions beforehand.
You don't like that. You remember?
I don't want the questions.
Hey, you want information? You want information about the segments beforehand? No, we're not gonna do it here, Casey.
That's true.
You a solid 2-2, and really it should have been 3-1. We've established that Chase Bunker. That was
a technicality.
That was an outlier. Okay.
Yeah, something happened against Matt Davis too. I just forget what it was.
He walked you. He walked you to the front door and was like, "Nah, this is my segment." But it's okay, Casey. That's all right. You feel what I'm saying? Because
I got you.
Today, my money's on you, Casey Lamont Kurtz.
I like it. We got that coming up 6:35 or so, hopefully, if our guest is on time. But we will keep you updated on an NFL Cutdown day. Rosters at 53 all around the league. I don't know how many teams have 2 kickers, but the one right here in Jacksonville does. The Jacksonville Jaguars have decided that they, at least for the day, until they make a waiver claim or two, have 2 kickers. 2 kickers on the 53.
On the 53.
What? What are we doing? Look, you don't think what's his name got a fair shake because he's only been here a couple days? Fine. Old McCourt's like 10 for 10. I don't get it. But, whatever. Only team in the league with 2 kickers. That's Jacksonville, baby. Mark it up. But since they kept 2 kickers, they had to cut some of these other individuals that I will tell you. And I will tell you the names of note that you've probably heard once or twice. Kevin Austin, the very expensive undrafted free agent. He gone. Jeff Cotton. He gone. E.J. Perry, the quarterback. He gone. But, what did you expect? And then I will skip ahead on this list until the one that you definitely know, and that is 4th-round pick Jay Tufele. He gone. And we thought at the beginning, Brent said that he heard whispers that it was going to be tough for him to make the team with the scheme. And then next thing you know, he was doing okay from what we heard. And then he was in the 4th quarter of the game against the Atlanta Falcons. And I was like, well, that's not good. And then the broadcast team was like, oh, he's looked great all camp. I was like, that's cap. It's got to be if he's in the 4th quarter of the last preseason game. And we find out that
you were right.
It was indeed cap. Yeah, Jay Tufele waived by the Jags. The most notable name. Listen, I'm not telling you that 4th-round picks turn into Hall of Famers all the time, but I'm telling you if you go back in that 4th round, there's a lot of players they could have drafted that would still be on the team. Amon-Ra St. Brown comes to mind. Brevin Jordan comes to mind. I can keep going, but we're not going to play that game. What we are going to tell you is Jay Tufele no longer on the team along with a good amount of other guys, but he's really one of the shocks. And then the last cut, Mekhi Sargent, he was number 54 when they made this first round of cuts. Mekhi Sargent is cut. They decided to cut a running back instead of the 2nd kicker.
Yeah, really is a competition.
And that's how they got to 53. So
really is a competition.
It really is. Where are they short at? Well, they're short at running back. They've got James Robinson, they've got Travis Etienne, and they've got Snoop Connor. That's it. Where else are they short? Wide receiver potentially. You know who they have, and Tim Jones. They don't keep any extras. They've got 5. Will they go add one? We do know a couple of the names that were cut that have been floated around. Tyler Johnson from the Bucks. Is he a guy you could be interested in? And then Williams from the Dolphins is another one. But they're short potentially at the wide receiver position. They're definitely short at the running back position for my money. And then you go to defense, like could they be short at defensive tackle? Doug Peterson says they like where they're at, though.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to go. And then this last round of of cuts when they sent the press release out in my email, and I was just looking at that, and I was just like, man, they cut a lot of offensive linemen. It felt like it. I don't know. Maybe this last round I saw like 3 or 4, and honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know most of their names.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking let me sit down and actually look who we kept, because we haven't had the best luck with offensive linemen over the past couple of seasons staying healthy.
Yeah.
Our starters. And so, that always gets me a little worried. I'm a little weird because, I wanted left tackle to go number 1 overall.
You did.
And I stand by that.
You
and
should.
you know how much I love the offensive and defensive line. I'm like, that's the backbone. That's the foundation of your entire team. But listen, I mean, Doug and his coaching staff and the GM and the front office and Mr. Khan and all of them, they got a vision. And I think, just like, whenever you have a new coach in here and you're trying to make strides in the right direction, especially after the last season that we had, you kind of just got to trust him on that. You're right, that Tufele release, I mean, I was surprised. I think most people, like you said, that was the biggest one of note.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, even last season, there was some anticipation because you were like, oh, you know what? Okay, this guy right here, he is going to be able to actually produce for us. Gets injured, but you're just like, okay, well, he got injured, but next season,
right?
And Doug
usually with
like,
4th round picks, they get more than 17 games, but
Doug was like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, we good. So to your point on offensive line, everyone that you think is on the team is on the team. There's no surprise cut at offensive line. Will Richardson is on the team. What happens there? He is the last guy in. Van Lanen, who they just traded for, is obviously in. Ben Barch, Shatley. You know the boys. The boys are in. The question becomes, the Jags with the number 1 waiver claim, the Las Vegas Raiders cut Alex Leatherwood, who was a first-round pick, the tackle. Well, Alex Leatherwood is not going to be a starting tackle for the Jags. I'm not breaking any news, but they are first on the waiver claim. This is a guy from Alabama, first-round talent, didn't work in Las Vegas. And if you think this guy can be a swing tackle, right? I don't know if they have any proof of that. I've never scouted Alex Leatherwood. I can't tell you his game tape, but I'm telling you he was a first-round pick. I'm telling you he went to Alabama, and I'm telling you that he was supposed to be a good player. The Raiders do not think that is the case. They cut him. Do not get me wrong. But could Alex Leatherwood be a better swing tackle than a Will Richardson? I would like to believe that's possible.
Right. Yeah.
So could they look that route, claim an Alex Leatherwood, and cut a Will Richardson? It is possible.
And see, I think this is so interesting right here, man, because you'll look at there was what's the guy's name? The 6th-round DB. He got cut. Why would you know that name off the top of your head, Casey? Right?
Gregory Jr.
I believe so. But I'm always fascinated by the strategies of NFL teams, the Jags, whomever, when you start getting into the cut in the way, because they want to keep some people on their practice squad. They're thinking 2 and 3 steps ahead. They're not just like, hey, this guy doesn't work out for us. That's a lot of what's happening right now, but there is some strategy to this right here. And then as well as, I wonder who in the front office and the scouting and the coaching staff, where they're looking amongst the other 31 teams as far as okay, who else can we pick up? How does that work with our scheme? They let him go. They let him go. You know what I mean? So that is going to be interesting over the next in the future to see what exactly the moves look like for the Jags moving forward.
Yeah, and it is Gregory Jr., by the way. And to that point, in the practice squad, like, some of these guys are coming back. Like, if they don't go claimed. Like Gregory Jr., I imagine they pick him in this year's draft, 6th round. I'd imagine they want him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a practice squad potential move. Kevin Austin is a guy that he didn't do much, right? He had some bad balls that went right through his hands, like we saw it. But Doug Peterson said today in the press conference that he likes to keep young receivers on the practice squad. Could Kevin Austin come back? I think likely, because who's claiming when you have people like Tyler Johnson who have made plays for the Bucs in the playoffs? I don't think you're claiming Kevin Austin over him. So Kevin Austin could be back. Jeff Cotton could be back. There's a lot of these guys that have been cut. They could be back on the practice squad, to your point. So, yeah, moves will be made there. E.J. Perry's another guy that might come back and be the practice squad quarterback. We don't know yet, but we will find out. But to your point, where else could they be looking? And I don't expect them to make a ton of moves because, like, that's the one thing. It's not like free agency like it is. They can claim anybody they want.
Yeah.
These are the 54th man on each team. Like, these are guys just not good enough to make it.
On the bubble.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, what are they really getting? Like, Leatherwood's intriguing because you think there might be something there. I like Tyler Johnson. I think there's something there as another receiver. But you pick up a receiver, if you pick up more than one person, because I think we all can agree they're going to cut a kicker. They are not going to go to Washington with two kickers. So you really have one spot that is almost guaranteed to open up. But if you go deeper, if they like Leatherwood and they like Tyler Johnson, or they like one of the running backs, who, by the way, we'll talk about this in the next segment a little bit, there are a ton of running backs out there, then you got to make a move. Somebody's got to go. And when you go through the camp with these guys and you see them, like a Tim Jones, I don't think they're going to be in a position to pick up a Tyler Johnson and then cut Tim Jones. I would be surprised to see something like that because they know what Tim Jones is. They've seen him all camp. Tyler Johnson, all you know is the film that he had last year, and you know that the Bucs didn't like him enough to keep him.
Just a side note, because I know you're going to be at the next Jags home game. When you speak to Tim Jones, can you let him know that I always believed in him and his speed?
I'll pass it along. I'll pass it along.
Verbatim, that right there.
That you always believed in him and his speed.
And his speed. Okay, stress that part right there.
Yeah, I'll work that out.
One more thing before, I toss it back to you. We probably go into break.
Yep.
So now that you kind of just have a moment to exhale, even though everything just kind of happened today and when it wrapped up at 4 p.m., I think that was the deadline.
4 p.m.
So, what the Jags have pruned themselves down to, what you see, who you assume is going to be starting and you see who is on the team. How do you feel in comparison to this time last year?
Better.
I
sure? Think.
Are you sure? Okay, you're still answering. There you go.
Because, I do feel better. But, let's not forget last year we were all pretty high on him, too. I think we were less high on him.
Okay.
But this year, they're definitely better. They have better players. Evan Ingram is better than what they had at tight end last year. Bringing in Zay Jones, who I didn't think it when it happened, but sure enough, is better than what they had. Christian Kirk is way better than what they had. Travis Etienne, at this point in time in 2022, is healthy. In 2021, we were still mourning the situation right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have better players. They also have a better coach. By a lot.
Oh, you couldn't help
by
yourself.
A ton.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the thing. Brian Milton.
Yeah.
We talked about this a bit. It's not time for this yet, but I look at it, right? And I look at the draft picks from last year that are still on the team and the ones that are getting cut. And we're gonna have to do a thank you, Urban Meyer. We're gonna have
a Christmas card too.
We're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the running.
Because the two that we know were Trent Baalke picks, Walker Little and Jay Tufele, is not looking so hot.
Not looking so hot.
And the ones we know were Urban Meyer picks, Travis Etienne and Tyson Campbell.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do something. Not yet.
Not yet though. They gotta show it.
They gotta
get some wins in.
They gotta show it. They gotta show it. There's no doubt.
Is there gonna be an apology or just a thank you?
I don't know what it's gonna be yet. Because here's one thing that can't be denied. Horrible coach. He didn't know what he was getting into. He might have made a couple of good picks, right? He might have. Doug Peterson is bounds and leaps and miles and bridges above Urban Meyer as a coach.
Oh, wow.
Urban Meyer probably didn't know at least 75% of the Jags roster last year. Doug Peterson knows everybody, including the practice squad. So I'm not trying to – some people in their car got a little concerned when I said that. But we are going to have to do that at some point. But it's not today.
Hey, listen. A real man can recognize, even if he doesn't agree with another person, he can recognize their talents and their contributions, especially if it benefits him. So respect if that happens. I'm going to keep you to it, though.
Yeah, no, we'll do it. We will definitely do it if they're good. But to finish answering your question, they got better players.
Okay. And they got a better coach?
It doesn't look like it. They have better depth. Not everywhere. You bring in a Darius Williams. Now you don't have to start a Herndon. So that now Herndon's a depth play. Okay, so I'm with that. They have better depth in some spots. There are some spots where it's atrocious. Don't get me wrong. But I feel better. They are going to win more than 4 games. They are going to eclipse their total from the last 2 years.
Combined. Right?
Combined.
Yeah, because 4. Yeah.
I'm not going to go nuts. There's a path to 8.
9, baby.
There's a path to 8.
9, baby.
Realistically,
I'm going to get you to 9
6.
before. Now, we ain't doing realistic around here anymore. We've been realistic for the past 10 years, 2017. I don't want no more realism in Jacksonville.
If they don't win 6 games, I'll be shocked and mad and upset, and we'll probably be sitting here like, well, barring, Trevor stays healthy. But to answer your question, they're better than they were last year. The only thing I don't understand, why do they have 2 kickers?
Hey, man.
Like, I get you want to give, a fair shake to both of them, but
listen, man.
Oh boy, McCourt's killing it, man. We just got to run with him, open up a spot, and then pick up Tyler Johnson. I don't know.
Doug said, man, I'm playing chess, not checkers, man. I got 2 kickers for a reason. And next time, hey, you know what? Next time, when you're in the presser with him, ask him straight up.
Well, hey, man, you was in there last time. You were the one in there for us.
Hey, listen, he didn't have the 2 kickers going then. Or actually, didn't he have the 2 kickers? But they weren't cutting people yet. So
we had 2 different kickers.
It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for me to ask that question.
By the way, shout out to YouTube, the Dean Machine. Sorry about Chelsea, by the way, Casey. That's a yikes moment. Yeah. First of all, I appreciate that you.
They lost again?
They lost again today.
Yeah. Are they good? Every time.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
They lost 3-0. Was that the last game or the game before?
Not. What did they? I think they lose 3-0.
I feel like.
Did they lose? Oh, they did lose 3-0 to Leeds. Yeah.
That's when you woke up early.
Yes. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. They've won since, and then today they played Southampton and lost 2-1. It was gross. Mason Mount has really no business playing on the team. Wow. If you're listening.
It's a great name.
This is a great take, by the way. If there's like diehard soccer people listening and like they saw the Chelsea jersey and they stopped to watch the stream, this is a great take. If Mason Mount wasn't English, he would not be on the team nor playing. He'd be like in some lower division of soccer.
I feel like there's an uproar right now.
But because he's English, like they're going to start him and give him every opportunity. The dude is trash. And then Kai Havertz, who I'm wearing his jersey, has been horrible as well. And meanwhile, Christian Pulisic's on the bench. Hakeem Ziyech finally got to play today, but he's playing out of position. It's just a disaster. But anyway, Dean Machine, I appreciate you.
Yeah, Dean Machine.
Just acknowledging it, because no one acknowledges soccer on the stream, so I appreciate you doing that. Anyway, Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. We go to break, and we talk running backs that are available on the other side. Who should the Jags claim? We'll tell you next.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When you look at a schedule, it reveals more than even the schedule what you really think about that team. Bad teams, their schedules always look brutal because they're no good, so you don't think they're going to win many games. Good teams, you look at the schedule, oh, it's not so bad because they're favored in a lot of those games. I guess I would also take the under on the Jets, but just. Like, I think 5.5 games is right. I'll take the under.
Key, J, and Max. Followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered heavy showers and storms into this evening. Keep an eye to the sky. Clearing skies overnight. Some fog toward morning as temperatures drop into the lower 70s. A mix of clouds and sun for Wednesday, and scattered showers and storms redevelop mainly in the afternoon with highs near 90. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years zero-interest financing with nothing down.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that biggie bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. An oil change with quality oil like Castrol Edge Full Synthetic can help your engine get more out of every tank. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When I moved to Jacksonville 15 years ago, I found Nimnik Buick GMC. That led to the Acadia, a couple of them, in fact, and now the GMC Sierra truck. I'm on my second one of those, all from Nimnik Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade. I know the product, the service, and I know the people, from Bill Nimnik to Jackie Lynch and James Jones. They've been my friends since 2008. Nimnik has been your friend in Jacksonville since 1941. NimnikBuickGMC.com. It's where I'll get my next truck, or maybe it'll be my kid's first vehicle, at Nimnik Buick GMC.
Join Jacksonville Women's Business Center on September 15th as a life of education, service, and advocacy will be recognized to honor Dr. Johnetta B. Cole for her Global Athena Leadership Award. Dr. Cole will be recognized and honored at an event at the Adam W. Hebert University Center at UNF on September 15th at 11 a.m. Athena founder Martha Mayhood Mertz will be in attendance and participate in a conversation with the honoree. Register now at jaxwbc.com or call 904-366-6640.
The Labor Day event from Dell Technologies is here. End the summer strong by starting up a new season of productivity. Your business upgrade begins with up to 48% off top-rated laptops, like Vostro, taking performance to the next level with 12th Gen Intel Core processors. It's time to push your growing business even further. What's next for you? Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It's the Blitz Scoreboard Show every Friday night at 9 p.m. on ESPN 690. Join Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and the Hall of Famer Kevin Sullivan for scores, analysis, interviews, and live video of games on the ESPN 690 social media platforms.
Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. Brian Middleton, we had to move up the segment.
Oh, yeah?
Our competitor, my competition, as soon as we hit the break, walked in, haven't spoken to me since, just been straight, dead, staring me in the face since he got here.
You got that action.
You may recognize the laugh. I will be competing today. Are you smarter than Casey Kurtz against one Justin Kuzar?
I'm excited for this. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
So let me give you the rundown. The first week, I beat my friend. I then lost on a technicality to Chase Bunker. It was absolutely cheap.
Chase Bunker.
It was a
Chase got you.
It was a technicality. So I really should be. It depends on who you ask. I'm 2-0.
Chase and I have a little bit of beef going on right now.
What you got?
He says the Orlando Magic, he said it on our podcast, he said the Orlando Magic are going to make the playoffs next year.
He did say that.
He did say that.
How do you guys all know? Where was I? Well, I know how you know. How do you know?
Chase told me.
See, and I
I'm
told
not in
him,
the loop at all.
And then I responded with, they pretty much have to add 20 more wins, and that is a lot
for one guy
of wins to add to a team. Now, the rebuttal is the Cavs did it last year, so in a way, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll get more wins. I just don't think they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, see, now you understand how I lost on a technicality. It's stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't think the Magic are going to the playoffs either. But, so then who did I beat after that?
Your dad.
Yeah, I beat my dad.
Oh, that's dang. No mercy.
Yeah. No mercy. And then
Thanksgiving's going to be weird.
It's going to be different.
Yeah.
And then I lost again on a technicality So
what I'm getting at is if I'm going to win, it's going to be on a technicality
for
at this
sure.
point.
Man. Matt Davis walked you to the front door, man. He walked you to
depending
the
on
front
who
door
you ask,
and
I'm
let you
4-0.
out.
Okay.
All right, we'll find out.
But if you
later
check
when
the
Matt is
actual
on.
record, it's 2-2.
It's 2-2 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? We've only done it 4 times.
Yeah, because last week we had the election coverage. I wasn't here.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I don't
you didn't
know.
come to work. That's right.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, Justin,
I
really
like
quick,
that.
let me give you the rules, okay?
Okay.
It's 1 point per correct answer, 1 guess per question.
Oh, boy.
You don't have to wait for the question to be completed to answer.
That was a technicality.
Okay.
Okay.
And if your op gets it wrong, I will finish or repeat the question and give you the chance to answer. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sweating.
I don't. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. You guys ready?
Never been more ready. Here we go.
All right. First up.
I forgot the system music.
This Yankee slugger made history recently, becoming the 10th player in Major
Aaron
League.
Judge.
Oh, geez. All right.
Wow, that was close.
Now I got to give it a tie. All right. There's one up. Wow.
Tie goes to the runner.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
I don't know.
This song by English singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran was released in January 2017
It's up to Kuz.
and is currently the most streamed song in Spotify history.
Thinking out loud.
No, it's either Shivers or Bad. It's either Shivers or Bad Habit.
Can you confirm it's
I'm
one
gonna
of the two?
go. Oh.
Yeah, both are wrong. It's Shape of You. Shape of
Oh,
You.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up, still 1-0.
Don't let them hear that you goofed that up on that station. Holy cow.
This former NBA Rookie of the Year from South Carolina only had 1 major D1 offer and wasn't ranked by ESPN, 24/7 Sports, or Rivals during his recruiting.
Is it recent?
I'm giving you the question, Casey Kurtz.
This D1 only got
South Carolina.
Obi Toppin?
10, 9.
What is that?
8.
You just want to count down?
He just guessed. Is he right?
5.
I didn't hear him. What did you say?
Obi Toppin.
3.
Oh, that's wrong.
2.
John Morant.
1.
I don't know.
Wow. John Morant is correct.
Wow.
John Morant is
John
correct.
Morant. Okay.
Wow.
Wait, he was. Wasn't he Murray State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to see his story sometime, man. It's very
Yeah,
interesting. Anyway,
yeah.
next up. This now famous media mogul got her first big break appearing on video, engaging in a spirited tussle with R&B singer Ray J.
Taylor Swift. Wait, that's not right.
Fighting Ray J?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you did not make these questions easy. I've absolutely no idea.
This now famous media mogul got her first big break appearing on video, engaging in a spirited tussle with R&B singer Ray J.
Think about it.
Media mogul?
I was thinking Kanye and VMAs. That's why I said Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I know.
You got this.
Oh,
You do.
I don't think I do.
Is it?
I
Who
know.
Is it who I'm thinking, Brian?
Probably.
You know this.
Should have said this.
Think of Ray J. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
There you go. There you go. The right answer.
What are we doing here?
There you go. All right. So we got 2-1, right? No, 2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. See,
all right, next up.
Technicalities, yeah. Okay.
The word alphabet, is formed from what 2 letters of the Greek alphabet?
Alpha and Bet. Alpha's got to be one of them.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Alpha and
Beta.
Beta.
Wow.
Thanks.
I feel like give half a point, but Casey's winning on the technicality.
I gave him
3-2.
Kim K. It's fair.
Technicality.
We're like helping each other out here.
Which
It's
major
not a
leaguer?
competition at all.
Which major leaguer is named the Big Donkey?
Oh.
The big.
I feel like
Oh.
Oh.
major. I don't know.
Say your name.
I was thinking of the one dude that's the big horse. That's not right.
The first name that came to my mind was Draymond Green because everyone jokes that he looks like Donkey from Shrek, but that's not it.
8, 7.
I don't got it.
6.
Adam Dunn?
There you
5.
go, Casey Kurtz. Wow. So what's that? 4-2?
Yeah.
4-2.5?
It's a runaway.
Okay, not yet. This
No,
is what happened with
because
Chase.
the last question's worth like 86 points.
This is what happened with Chase right
okay.
here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Naturally.
All right.
Why wouldn't it be?
What is the name of the tallest mountain in the world?
Mount
Everest.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna tie it up right there again. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. 5-3. 5-3. All right, next up. This pitcher has only ever played for 2 teams, Tampa and Philly. Starting with Tampa and then was traded in a 3-team deal involving Garrett Clevinger and Dylan Paulson. I believe I said those names right.
Oh boy.
Tampa Bay Rays fan, Phillies fan.
I know that's but here's the problem is like I'm a casual Phillies fan, if that makes sense. I start watching once they're good. Like I've just started watching again.
Okay.
You know
I wish I would have known that. Yeah. Next go around, we'll have it better for you.
Ooh.
All right, I'm gonna count this down because I don't feel like.
Is it recent?
Yeah, it's recent. 10, 9, 8, 7.
I don't got it.
6.
I don't got nothing.
5, 4.
You could just go to 0.
3.
Yeah, I don't know.
0. Okay. Jose Alvarado.
Ah, okay.
12 and 18 in his career.
Jose Alvarado sucks.
All right, so right now it's 5-3. And
that's the only time in the history of the world Jose Alvarado has been a trivia question.
I know.
And it's the only time he will be. Right here.
You're gonna have to see some of these people, man. Your level of disrespect, you're gonna have to see some of these people in the locker room, on the field, and I hope it's as uncomfortable as I think it's going to be.
Probably. What do we got?
All right, we're gonna go to the last one. So Justin.
Is this winner take all?
It's worth 3 points, and since you're up 2, sure.
Yeah.
It's worth 3 points. All right,
Oh, man.
guys. This state became the 50th addition to the United States in August of 1959.
59?
Yeah, none of us were born, Casey. Don't throw it out there.
I'm gonna go.
It's got to be one of the 2.
I know.
Right?
I know. Which one do you want to go? I'll go the other one.
I'll go out on a limb. Could it be one of the small ones? Like that up there? No, it's not. It's Alaska.
Oh, man. Justin, let me read this to you again, all right? Let me read this to you again.
Oh, man.
It's worth 3 points.
I feel like this is a trick question.
It's not a trick question. Just know your history next time. U.S. history,
I think
okay?
it's a trick question.
This state became the 50th addition, the 50th star on the flag to the United States in August of 1959.
I mean, I got to go Hawaii.
Wow! Wow! Man, listen, man. Casey, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I turned that off right there.
That was aggressive, yeah.
But listen, man, I wanted to get to the happy music, man. Hey, man, Justin Coursart, it was a tough go. The season of questions, I mean, it was hard,
I
man.
think I actually knew 3 of them.
You know what I'm saying? But you knew the ones that counted.
Yeah.
And I gotta be real with you. Some people would say that you're not smarter than Casey Kurtz, but according to this game, this round, you're smarter than Casey Lamont Kurtz. Casey, how do you feel about that, man?
I want everyone to know Alaska became a state January 3rd, 1959. Hawaii became a state August 21st.
You were close.
I was close.
You were close.
Well, here's the thing: is we knew it was one of those 2.
Right. Alaska
We knew
felt
it-
right.
Those were the last 2. That's why I was letting you go. I was like, which one do you want? It's a 50-50 shot.
That was a shrewd move, Coursart. It was a shrewd move to let him go first, knowing that he would pick the wrong one.
Shut up, Brian.
Wow.
I don't know. What do I do now? How do we go on with the show? Once
I mean,
again,
hey,
I lost
listen,
on a
it's fine.
technicality.
Was that a technicality?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should have
It's
just
the
won
only
straight up.
question in the game worth 3 points.
Yeah. But to be fair, Casey, you had that chance 2 other times. I was like, hey, listen. Remember Matt Davis? He was like, yeah, I'll be a sport about it. And you didn't get it right. But you're close. You ran a great race. You know, you're Aaron Rodgers, Casey Kurtz. During the regular season, during those 9 questions, you're basically unbeatable.
I kind of just in a way, LeBron James came back 3-3 down 3-1. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, respect
Last
to you.
second.
See, he called you Golden State in 2016. That's a compliment. 73-9.
You were 73-9, but that last.
But I'm stupid. I'm just not intelligent. Play the music. We're going to break.
No one believes that you're dumb, man.
Yeah,
you
well,
just, not as, smart as Justin. That's all
Can
I'm
you
saying.
please find somebody next week that's not going to win? Like everybody you bring in, like I'm waiting for you to bring in somebody I know I can beat. Justin wears glasses. Like I had no chance.
That's fair.
He looks smart.
Yeah, he does.
But I'm not. But I really tried to give that one away.
Jose Alvarado, what are we doing? What are we doing? Who would know that?
You're like the Tampa Bay aficionado. You spit off all these facts.
He's a bum. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not thinking about the Lehigh Valley, whatever,
Listen, man,
AAAs.
do you know how many Tampa Bay Rays and Philadelphia Philly connections there are? Not many, okay?
Pat
Had to do research on it.
We could have done Pat Burrell.
Okay, well then you build the questions next time, give them to me, and then I'll ask them to
I
you.
would love to build the questions.
Do it then.
I feel better about it.
Holy
Holy cow. What a disaster. Congratulations, Justin.
Thanks.
You've broken the show, Justin. Thank you.
We'll try to continue next. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Well, that ding-dong doorbell company is at it again, admitting to giving out customers video footage over 11 times without the customer's knowledge or consent. This is outrageous. It's inexcusable. It's a breach of your privacy, freedom, and security. When a security company teams up with big tech companies, it means a privacy invasion of your home. It means your information is being sold and distributed without your knowledge. SafeTouch is on your side. SafeTouch equipment is installed by pros. SafeTouch doesn't collaborate with any big tech company. SafeTouch keeps your family secure without invading your privacy. SafeTouch allows you complete control of all your video footage and security, and you can be sure with SafeTouch that your doorbell and camera footage is safe and controlled by you and only you. Choose SafeTouch to fight crime and keep your privacy at the same time. Call SafeTouch today and check out what real security is all about and get free installation when you do. SafeTouch Security, doing what others can't for over 35 years. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com. State license EF233.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I hope you're having a wonderful summer just like me. It's so nice to be able to travel again without wearing a mask. We have visited family all over the country and even made a trip to Africa. Life doesn't get any better. Now that all our kids are back in school, I can see the beating the house has taken. The carpet, the tile and grout, the area rugs, and even the sofa all need a good cleaning. If your home needs some cleaning, give Zero Res a call. Right now, if you have your tile cleaned, we will seal the grout for 50% off. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatorsparking.com to reserve your spot today.
If you play a sport or coach a sport or watch a sport in Jacksonville, there's a really good chance that uniform was ordered through Baker Sports. Look good, feel good, play good. Custom sports apparel at Baker Sports since 1997 and a staff that really wants to help. They are experts in the business and make outfitting your team a seamless endeavor. The homegrown Jacksonville business is now the top choice for apparel all over the Southeast. Baker Sports, uniforms, hats, shoes, embroidery, screen printing, and 3D printing. They do it all at Baker Sports, helping make your team look good.
Time is running out to get the most money for your used car. Do you have an extra car in the garage or one that needs repairs? Come to the live appraisal event by ACV Auctions on September 9th and 10th to find out how much your vehicle is really worth. Get an inspection, then watch it go live on a nationwide auction and watch the bids come in real time. You can sell it on the spot or just find out what it's worth. It's that easy, and it's free. Proudly hosted by the Tom Bush family of dealerships, 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I lost again. This is unacceptable. Unbelievable. I'll give you a little background information. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. My man Justin Kuzart was wearing a Hawaii t-shirt. I didn't notice it until after the fact that we were having a discussion about how everything turned out. But yes, indeed wearing a Hawaii shirt. I guess I just should have used the context clues, Brad Middleton. What's the deal, man?
Listen, man.
You're rigging this thing against me.
You a champ in my book, man. Listen, you had to win. I was like, yes. You know what I'm saying? 5-3. This is easy money. It's easy money.
I know.
And
I was
listen,
up too. I should have. Here's what I should have done.
What?
I knew the answer to the question when you said New York Yankees. I knew it had to be Aaron Judge. I should have just went for it.
Yeah, because I'm not
But
that
the
deep in
last time I did that, I said something stupid and wrong. And then I goofed up because my immediate thought, I thought you were talking about Taylor Swift with Kanye because the VMAs just come up. I didn't listen to the question. So that's on me, right? Because I obviously knew the answer for Ray J.
Yeah.
Kim K.
Mm-hmm.
I just outplayed myself. I beat myself.
You know what?
Justin's already gone, and I know he's not listening in his car.
Yeah.
I beat myself. I did not lose to Justin Kuzart. I beat myself.
I respect that. Because you had to win.
You
had it locked down.
Yeah.
And then you just left enough open.
Yeah.
You should have answered second. I feel like
I felt really good about Alaska, dude. I felt so good about it.
And you should have. I didn't know both of those answers. You know, January of the same year. Okay.
Yeah. Dang it.
How did they jump on before Hawaii?
I know, right? When you think
wrote
about
that
it, it's illogical. By the way, appreciate everybody playing along in the chat. We take all comers. So next Tuesday, if you want to get in on this via the phone, get in contact with Brian Middleton, the broadcast on Twitter. Hit him up. I will play anybody. You see kind of what happened, right? You got a pretty good shot at winning, especially when the last question's worth 85 points.
Don't let them fool you.
So you got a good shot at this thing. But hit up Brian Middleton if you want to get in line for the trivia. We will take all comers. We only do it on Tuesdays, though. If it gets popular enough, we'll do it on other days. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I like for your defense. Give me something. I'll defend it. I'll give you one. You defend it. And then we'll move on with our day.
All right. Oh, hold on. Let me get you. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Casey Kurtz. Let's see. Let's move this one. Accused of being a wild boy in the first degree. This is your defendant, all right?
Yes.
Defend your client, Joseph Henney, a Pennsylvania native who has an alligator as an emotional support animal.
Hold on. I'm not supposed to know who he's just a random, right?
Yeah, I'm just giving you his name in case you want to say Joe or JoJo or something like that. J. Hen or something like that, okay?
Joseph.
But yeah, he has an alligator as a support animal.
In Pennsylvania.
Who he hugs and sleeps in the same bed with and go.
Listen, my client, Joseph, understands what it needs to be support. And listen, you might think it's a fluffy dog or a cat or something like that. But you know what really supports you? A rugged, a tough alligator. If someone breaks into my house, is my emotional support dog going to say me no? But you know what, Will? When they tear the covers up to kidnap me and there's a alligator, that thing will eat your face off. True. Joseph's making a great decision to be protected and supported by an alligator.
True that.
That is one hell of a story. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
How is he not dead?
I don't. They're hugged up. I wish I could show you the
Like,
photo
is this
right
a
now.
wild alligator? Like, I know you don't know, but
Yeah.
like, there's no way this dude just took the alligator. Like, there has to be a backstory.
Hey, listen, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah. Brad Middleton, do me a favor, if you will,
Okay.
and defend. I want you to defend Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. And here's what they're accused of. Having two kickers on the roster in the National Football League when you could only kick one at a time. Go ahead and defend that.
Okay, yeah, this is an easy one. First of all, I know that Trent Baalke, he'll never be out of your doghouse, even when the Jags win the Super Bowl this season. But listen, these guys have a vision, okay? My man Shad, before the Nickelodeon 1920 style mustache, he was a self-made man, okay? He came up making bold decisions. And that's how he got his billions of dollars. Trent Baalke, how he got to his position, I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to go with the fact that he made bold decisions. And so if they made bold decisions and they have success now, why not go on with two kickers? Start a new trend in the NFL.
Okay.
Maybe.
You
Nah. Please
like
come
that?
with it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Please come
Anyway, Jags do have two kickers, and the roster is set. Until they make some claims first on the waiver claim. We'll keep up with that. We should do more for your defense tomorrow since we are out of time. We got to hit this break quickly so we can get to Matt Davis and the Jumbo Shrimp. We hit this break. We come back. Shrimp Baseball on deck. We'll be right back.
We're local, you're local. Shop local. Please shop local retailers right here in the 904.
Shop the 904!
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community. Shop these great local businesses.
Surrendering Minds Yoga Therapy, Tire Outlet, Carrington Mortgage, Florida Pump Service, Miller Electric.
Now, more than ever, we need to support local businesses and shop the 904.
They're a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great. To get your business listed, shop the 904 at cmg.com. Get your business listed.
Shop the 904!
To get your business listed, email shopthe904 at cmg.com.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
When I moved to Jacksonville 15 years ago, I found Nimnick Buick GMC. That led to the Acadia, a couple of them, in fact, and now the GMC Sierra truck. I'm on my second one of those, all from Nimnick Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade. I know the product, the service, and I know the people, from Bill Nimnick to Jackie Lynch and James Jones. They've been my friends since 2008. Nimnick has been your friend in Jacksonville since 1941. NimnickBuickGMC.com. It's where I'll get my next truck, or maybe it'll be my kid's first vehicle, at Nimnick Buick GMC.
The best decisions are usually based on experience and trust. And when it comes to selling your home, Mark Spain Real Estate is the most trusted and experienced real estate team in the U.S. with nearly 10,000 five-star reviews. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free and make the most money. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Call 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Action Sports Jacks overtime, couple minutes to go on a Tuesday. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball coming up. I will say this, Brian Middleton, the Dean Machine on YouTube was trying to help you defend the kicker situation.
I
said,
see
hey,
that.
what if one of the kickers just shows an early glimpse that he doesn't have it? Then you just rotate the next man up. Depth is key. ... Right?
And we got to get Dean Machine on here. Maybe we got to start getting calls in for that too.
It's a good defense.
Need about 17 more seconds, but I like that. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that is a good defense. But if they go to Washington with two kickers, bro, I'm gonna lose it.
You know something. It's gonna be a problem.
Lose it. Two active kickers. I'm gonna lose it. We're out of time though. We got to talk to Matt Davis, who is in Gwinnett, Alabama Crimson Tide fan. Matt, how many kickers do the Tide have? Which is a little different from college, but would you feel comfortable if they had rotating kickers?
We did.
Seriously?
For a while, we had rotating kickers because everybody on Alabama's squad is so good, except their kicker, Nick Saban.
Oh, that's true.
Except for Will Reichert, who has earned it, he doesn't give scholarships to kickers.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, I've never seen us have a scholarship kicker. I've also never seen us have a good kicker until Will Reichert. I mean, every single time Alabama would bring out the field goal unit, you just get on your knees, hold your hands together, and shut your eyes. And then once Gary Danielson says, oh, he missed, you just say, that was to be expected.
I guess I didn't realize that. Like, I never fully
Yeah, I mean, it is
understood.
true. We are so good. It's just
Okay.
it's just second nature for everybody to assume that we're good at every single thing. But I will say, if there is a chink in the armor, it's kicking.
Apparently. All right. Well, that's enough Alabama love here on a Tuesday. What's the situation going on with the Shrimp tonight, Matt?
Well, they put the tarp on the field
Not
here
again.
at Coolray Field, but they just took it off. The grounds crew is lining the field. No expectations for a delay. The sky is still gray, but there's no clouds, so it's somewhat just a clear gray night, and we should have baseball because the radar is perfectly clear for us the rest of the way.
Well, then, Matt Davis, if you don't think there's going to be a delay in the game, I should not delay any further to get, how about that, to get to your pregame show. Shrimp on Deck with Matt Davis. Matt, have a good call. We will talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it. Shrimp on Deck starts right now on the Jumbo Shrimp Network, powered by FIS.
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is 15 minutes away. It's time for Shrimp on Deck, featuring interviews